sperm gets the brain, and I'ma get it all.
And I've been waiting all my life just for this one night to show I can do it. So let's get to it. I got the heart of a champion. I got the heart of a champion. I got the heart of a champion. I will not give up.
Welcome to the Beacon Broadcast Network. Tonight we are live from the Edward T. Berry Ice Rink on the campus of UMass Boston on Columbia Point. For Game 2 of our doubleheader, it will be the 6th-ranked UMass Boston Beacons taking on the Huskies of Southern Maine. The Beacons come in 13-4-0, 8-2 in the conference. They have won their last 2 games, 3 of their last 4. Southern Maine comes in slightly below that at 2-9-4. They are 2-5-3 in conference. They are coming off of a tie and a loss, but their last 4 games have all been decided by 1 goal or less. I want to bring in Matt Meisenbacher now. He'll be joining me tonight. Steve Witkowski is down ice level. He'll join us in a minute. But, Matt, when you look at this game, we were here. I was with you last year. Same situation.
Yep.
UMass Boston was the ranked team. They had the numbers. Southern Maine came in as the underdogs. It was a nasty game. We had 3 or 4 people get tossed.
Yep.
But it ended with the Huskies coming away with the win.
Yeah, and if you were talking to your friends in the desert and trying to place maybe some money on this game, this could be a trap game. You look at this Huskies team, and on paper you think, okay, the matchup, you got a number 6 team in the country with the Beacons against a Southern Maine team who comes in with a 2-9-4 overall record, and you don't see much. But if you dig a little deeper and you start to peel away the onion, let me throw some stuff at you here. So
hit me with it.
Over their last 7 game span, they've only been outscored 14-12. They've held opponents to 3 goals or fewer in all 7 games. That to me tells me that we've got a team that can keep it close and is on the right path. Now they do come in. This is going to start a 6-game road trip for these Huskies. And they want to get off. You want to start off on the right foot. So you've got a team on a Friday night, a full tank who's been playing well, and might be coming together. We'll have to wait and see against the Beacons team, who is coming off that was a tough weekend last weekend. They walked out of there. Beacons took care of business and did what they had to do. But that was a tough road trip. That's way up in upstate New York, playing against Skidmore College and against Hobart, of which they had a great weekend. But trips like that do take their toll on a team, and Beacons team now coming back home. Got to watch out for this Huskies team.
As we enter the middle conference play, we take a look at the standings. And you talked about that Hobart team that gave the Beacons trouble. There they are. They're knocking on the door at 4 points. Obviously, everybody's chasing Norwich, and the Beacons will host them here in this building on the 27th. But a couple of games between now and then. This is actually the first of 4 in a row at home for the Beacons. It will close with that Norwich game before they go back to Skidmore. But UMass Boston right now, it's kind of just about playing catch-up. They're just trying to keep pace with Norwich till they get to that game.
Well, you can see how close it is. I mean, these standings look similar to the NHL standings. I mean, only a point between the majority of these teams at the top, and then you look all the way from top to bottom. Other than Skidmore College and Castleton, you can make a case that Southern Maine is even going to make a push and try to get in there. But you can see, a win goes a long way. You get 2 points, and you can really climb the standings quickly. Now, you take a look at the top 5 teams. All 5, Norwich, UMass, Babson, Hobart, and NEC, New England College, have had at one point in time been in the poll. Which tells you those teams have skill and they know how to win. And so tonight, a UMass team that has taken care of business up until this point. We'll get into a little bit about what has made them successful. But, the big highlight I want to point out is that this Huskies team is really doing things the right way right now, and this Beacons team has got to be careful.
So we take a look at the series match. We talked about the last time these two teams met, at least the last time they met here in Boston, but it's really been a close series overall. These two teams just, it's you see it in sports sometimes. There's a pair of teams that no matter how one is doing, no matter how streaky one is, no matter the players, they just always play each other tight.
Oh, without question. And it always seems, this is alumni weekend, obviously, for the men's team. Very exciting. A lot of familiar faces around the rink tonight and tomorrow. And it seems like anytime it's alumni weekend, Southern Maine is scheduled. So a team that is very familiar. And there's some pride on the line as well. These Beacons understand that there's going to be, some alumni in the crowd. They want to impress. They're number 6 in the country. And the last thing you want to do on alumni weekend is drop a game at home on a Friday night. So something to note as well.
Let's take a look back. You talked about that Hobart game. That was the last time this team took the ice 6 days ago. Overtime final. We'll catch you up right now.
He's on the whole circle of the ice. He'll feed it deep. It's in behind now. McDougal, right, across the goal. No score! Jonas Topel redirects. Assist number 12 for Lawson McDougal. Side now, gains the red line. He'll dump in. He'll follow the puck. Power play, 32 more seconds. Hobart, the goalie MacBurnie steers it inside. And they have a chance for an odd man rush shorthanded here. It's Chucklin coming in. It's a 3-on-1 shot, save, rebound, score.
That was just complete miscommunication.
And it's a good thing. Big screen in front of Oppinger that time. Good power play, UMass Boston. Knockber walks in, shot, score. He came in from the right circle, and Nolan broken up and break back the other way now. It is Bistido on the right wing side. Haskell in over the line. Haskell fires. Goalie couldn't find it. Score! Haskell fired that in, and the goalie, he gets hauled down. And back the other way comes Riley, who scored the shorthanded goal. Riley ahead to Larkin, dangerous scores. Larkin for Riley, shot and score. Tyler Sipperlin was the third man in, and he took the pass on the right side and puts the Beacons. Different can't clear. McNee right wing corner, 10 seconds left. Out of the right, McNee, shot, save, rebound, score! Zach Sternberg ties it up with 5.5. So it's a little snowy along the boards. On the right wing side, Topel has Denicourt. Topel fires, blocked, gets it back. Topel sends to the front of the net, broken up, and threw back out of the left wing side. 2-on-1. There's a 2-on-1 left wing side, and the shot saves, stop, rebound, score.
And welcome back as you see the Beacons taking the ice, the Huskies as well. Getting you ready for the nightcap of our doubleheader. We saw the women pick up the 3-1 win over Salve just about an hour ago. Let's take a look at this one by the numbers, and the problem for Southern Maine this year, they just can't put the puck in the net.
Well, and the special teams, getting a little bit of scouting report, talking to some of the coaching staff before the game, and that was something that they highlighted, recognizing that this Southern Maine team on the power play is not very efficient, and on the penalty kill tends to give them up. So that's an area the Beacons are going to look to highlight. And again, the thing I love to see, look at the goals per game. I mean, almost 5 a game for this Beacons team. They provide their goaltending with so much support and make life so difficult for the opposing goaltenders. When you're putting in close to 5 goals a game, you're going to win a lot of hockey games, and this is a team that can score.
And on the other side, UMass Boston, the scoring, they got to keep in check. That top line, 82 points on the season in 17 games. Redler and Larkin, joined by Zach Bross. Those are the guys you got to stop.
Well, not only you see a lot of the same common names, up and down. It's been the same all year, but that top line continues to produce for this Beacons team. They really haven't cooled down, and the thing I like is there's been some secondary scoring. We're starting to see some of these sophomores and juniors step up now. A lot of these freshmen that we've seen beginning of the season haven't cooled off of yet, which is something Coach Blyle has got to be fond of, looking at his team from top to bottom. Not a lot of holes here, but we've seen when they can't transition, we saw this in a couple games, when they're not able to transition the puck and use that speed to their advantage, they get into a little bit of trouble. But it'll be interesting to see. It's dropping the puck here. This Southern Maine team, like I said, they've got some big bodies out there. They like to throw their weight around, and could be a fast and physical start to this one.
We have a player to watch for you. There's a lot of players you could watch on this team, but Evan Helt is an interesting name to keep an eye on. He's playing just his 10th game this year, the freshman defenseman. You talk about needing your full roster certain nights. Tonight's one of those nights. He's on the third pairing, but a guy who's forced the lineup to injury, a guy they're going to count on.
Without question.
Nolan Radley, sophomore forward, Winchester, Massachusetts.
Colin Larkin, senior forward, Waterford, Michigan. Zach Ross, freshman forward, St. Louis, Missouri.
Gabe Chuckern, junior defenseman, Media PA.
Nick Albano, freshman defenseman, Beverly, Mass.
Bailey MacBurnie, sophomore goaltender.
Back from the anthem as the teams get ready. You saw the starters there for the Beacons, and keys to the game here, Matt, before we get underway.
Well, a couple things. I think if you're the Beacons, a fast and early start. You've got a lot of energy coming into this game, playing in your home rink after coming off the road trip, and you want to get off to that quick start. Get a couple shots on net and allow yourself to gain some of that momentum. Take a lot of this life out of the Southern Maine team early. If you're the Huskies, continue to build upon some of the successes you've had of recent games, and you can see the team going to rely on your goaltender tonight. There's going to be a lot of shots on goal. Going to have to play sound D and try to stay out of the box. We mentioned the special teams. Got to not give this Beacons team any more opportunities than they're already going to generate.
Teams head to their respective benches. The Beacons in their home whites, they will move left to right. Southern Maine, the Huskies, in their road blues with the yellow trim moving right to left. I got to say, as a fan of the old school look, Huskies win the uniform battle right out of the bat. That's a great look.
You like that, huh?
I do. I'm a big fan of the old school look.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely better than those yellow ones they wear.
Yeah, any yellow uniform generally, unless you want to get into San Diego Padres territory, you're pushing limits with that. As we get ready for the face-off, tonight's officials, Tom Cronin, Steve Benoit, Matt Fitzgibbons, and Steve Zanetti. Building's loud, here we go. Southern Maine wins the face-off and instantly shoots it back into the UMass Boston half of the ice.
It's going to be physical, Alex. Watch for the hitting, especially early on. First 5 minutes, going to be a lot of hits.
Each team trying to set the tone. First shot deflected wide, stays out of the netting, comes down to the corner, and here we go. They come together along the boards, back out to the blue line, slap shot off the rebound, just wide of the glove of the Southern Maine goaltender, Anthony D'Alzio. That one goes wide. In the slot, shot goes wide again. They're testing the freshman early. 2, 6, and 4 on the year. He makes another save. Save percentage at around 90%. He's been their primary goaltender this year.
Yeah, D'Alosio with a couple quick saves early on here, and Southern Maine able to clear. But, this Beacons team, no shortage of energy. That top line comes out ready to play already with 2 or 3 shots on goal.
Sent down the ice the other way. No go. D'Alosio, it's on the doorstep! Stick checked away by Southern Maine. Brock Patton got in the way of that one. Beacons quickly back into the zone. And Southern Maine clears again. Gathering in is Brian Carter. Carter to Gallagher as the Beacons go down to their second unit here. Minute and a half in. Couple of shots for UMass Boston, still no score. Sent up ahead with space. On the near side wing, the shot to the glove side. Beat the goaltender but missed the net.
Didn't miss by much there. Miscue by the Beacons on the change. Left that side all alone, and fortunately for them, weren't burned by it, but that puck didn't miss by much.
Adam Papiano with the shot. The starting goaltender for the Beacons is the sophomore, Bailey MacBurnie, 12-2 on the year. 211 goals against average. Stops about 92% of the shots that come his way. He does have a pair of shutouts to his name this year.
Out of Frisco, Texas as well. Not sure where in that fine state that is, but might be one of the first goaltenders I've seen from the state of Texas. Seen a couple forwards, couple D. I don't know if I've ever seen a goaltender from there.
It's picking up. The sport's picking up down there. We had the NHL at a top overall pick, Seth Jones.
That's right.
From Texas a couple years ago. His dad was a basketball player, Popeye
right.
Jones.
Yep. Doing very well for the Columbus Blue Jackets, currently in the playoffs.
Of course, the emergence of Alabama Huntsville at the D1 level has helped out.
Yep. Cam Talbot, starter for the Edmonton Oilers, played there.
You got to wonder what it's going to be like when the Big Ten's already done it, but the SEC and the Pac-12, when they buy in on hockey.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully only a matter of time now with Arizona State with a Division I program. Yep. And, yeah, as you said, the sport is growing. Oh, as the refs go down. We got that on camera. Oh, man. Oh, blew a tire right into the wall. That never feels good.
See if we can get the name on the back of that. You got to give credit where credit's due.
Oof. Going down early. But I'll tell you what, the speed at which the Beacons play, and I'm curious to see how Southern Maine is going to counter this. Are they going to try to play as fast as the Beacons, or are they going to try to slow things down? That's always a question for these teams. You know, the Beacons are going to play fast. They're going to find ways to play fast. Here we have we'll get you the replay on that in a second, but the Beacons are going to play fast. Now, what the other team decides to do with that, try to slow things down or play at that pace, is always something I look to watch here. And so far, looks like Southern Maine's going to try to compete with them in terms of the speed of the game.
It was Matt Fitzgibbons was the official who went down. Here's a chance for Southern Maine, a 1-on-2, stops at the wall, needs his teammates to catch up. Back in, there's the shot, deflected off a body in front and away. That was Ty Zampanella.
A former Beacon, transferred early on in his collegiate career, now plays for Southern Maine. And all right, we'll show the replay here. I hate to do it to you, refs, but look at this. Coming around the corner, boop, blown tire. Almost takes out his buddy, too. Oh, my God, could have been a disaster. Almost down 2 refs there early on in the game, but fortunately said his name's Fitzgibbons.
Yep, Matt Fitzgibbons.
This looks to be all right.
Glove save made, puck knocked out back to the blue line, kept in, and it will get away from Tristan Dundas, and it will give the Beacons maybe a chance to clear contact along the wall, and the Huskies retreat. 16:19 to go in the first period, a scoreless first period thus far from the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. Here's Dundas going toe-to-toe with Gallagher behind the net. Wrist shot from the point, closing the legs is Del Solio to make the save.
Yeah, we're going to get a penalty here. A little high stick in front. There was a shot from Gallagher off the blue line, and a quick wrister. Didn't really just try to get it towards the front of the net. I like that play. I like when D just kind of get it there, allow the forwards maybe to get a tip or a redirect. D'Alicio made the save, and then on the rebound, a little bit of a high stick, and so Dundas is going to sit for 2, and we'll see the Beacons power play, which we mentioned in the pregame, Alex. This penalty kill for the Huskies not where it needs to be, and the Beacons power play, which has been clicking on all cylinders of late.
Puck comes back out to the point, and it skips by. First power play of the game for UMass Boston. Like you said, they're converting at 26% on the year. Southern Maine penalty kill has been weak, killing off just 71%. Oh, that was a slammer off the end boards. 20 seconds into the penalty. Beacons just hugged that one in the zone. Stepping up to the top of the circle, losing track of the puck, now getting back to it. Coming around the back side, that puck goes off the back of the cage. Out to the point it comes to the near side. Quick pass down to the dot, back out to the point. Wrist shot on the net, deflected and knocked away. Excellent defensive play as he was falling down by Connor Ferreira.
Nice play by MacBurnie, the quick up, and Beacons right back into the zone off the block shot.
Trying for the give and go, and a missed pass.
Right back out, yeah.
It was Brian Carter on the give. This time Beacons a little slower getting back into the zone. We're halfway through the penalty. Backhanded across the blue line. Here's a look. Defender to a knee. Hesitates. He shoots. He scores. Colin Larkin, his 16th of the year. It was all in the hesitation move, Matt.
Well, not only that, but originally the pass by Albano. A little backhand sauce, a little marinara right across the blue line. Puts it right on the tape for Larkin, and then he knows what to do with it from there, folks. I mean, we talked about his point totals on the year, but you said it, the quick hesitation got the defense to commit, got the goaltender to commit, and then tucked it 5-0 for the power play goal. Next whistle will get you that power play, but it'll be Albano to Larkin on the power play goal for an early 1-0 lead by the boys in white.
Beacons now playing with the lead, just 5 minutes in. So Larkin gets the goal. Zach Bross with his 21st assist of the year. And now Southern Maine will have to play catch-up. Southern Maine again forced to backtrack.
And my apologies there. It was actually Zach Bross.
Oh, here's a chance for Southern Maine to answer, just missed.
Zach Bross on that nice backhand along the blue line. Gigi Braga, our behind-the-scenes gal, let me know I made an error, so I was 0 for 1 to start the women's game, and now I'm 0 for 1 to start the men's game.
That was Cody Braga on that last shot, no relation, or so we're told. Flipping around behind the net. A couple players punching at it. Beacons keep possession. To the near side, wrist shot. And the save is made with the glove. Delosio gets the stop.
This is a Beacons team all year that remains competitive with themselves. We're bringing this replay real quick on the goal, and just watch this nice little backhander right across the blue line here. I mean, that pass, I'll tell you what, hard enough on the forehand, but to get that on tape in stride off your backhand, putting it right where Larkin wanted it, and then obviously Colin Larkin, we know what he's capable of. He's not going to miss many of those, but just a nice little play there by Bross to allow Larkin that opportunity to give the Beacons a 1-0 lead and their first power play goal of the day. And I was about to say, this Beacons team, when they smell blood in the water, they continue to attack. They are very competitive with each other, and when one line gets one, the others want to follow suit. So look for this team to continue to press right now following that early goal. There's a turnover there and a nice save by MacBurnie.
Can make it for the top line now on the season. 39 goals, 45 assists, and 84 points in 17 games and change. And some tells me they're not done quite yet for the night. Big hit behind the net as Southern Maine will look to come up the other way. Off the boards a little too much on that pass. Coming up the near side looking for Braga. We have a whistle and play is stopped.
Offsides. Fortunate for the Beacons. That was not off by much. And Michael Washington, one of the larger Huskies on the team, number 20, and boy, oh boy, he's coming in at 6'4", 220, all by himself on that play, but play was whistled dead on the offsides, and fortunately for the Beacons, they will take the draw.
Backhanded in, twisting over was Washington.
Yeah.
That's going to be a trip, and the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's an unnecessary penalty by Redler, and I know he's trying to be aggressive. He's the smaller guy. He's matched up with Michael Washington, the man we were just talking about, but an unnecessary penalty there right off the draw, and I understand he's trying to get, the competitive advantage, but a little bit too far over the line there and gets called for the trip. So we'll see the Huskies power play for the first time today, and an area I know they're likely to want to improve. As you mentioned, special teams, not their strong suit.
12% on the air. Beacons killing off at about 87. And here the Beacons getting loud in here for this penalty kill. Huskies over the logo at the halfway point of the sheet. And it's sent back down the other way.
It's the loudest you hear the Beacons. Turnover.
Oh, here we go, hopping over the goaltender, just missing. Sprawling out, Delosio had to get down to make that save. Contact at center ice.
But I was going to say, yeah, this is the loudest you'll see the Beacons. They love them a good penalty kill, and you can see it, you can hear it. The bench is going to get up on any clear, on any blocked shot, and they like penalty kills more than they like power plays, Alex.
Bonno put Murphy on the ice, had a couple words for him, coming back down the other way. 1:08 to go in the penalty, 11:40 to go in the first period. The Beacons currently with a 1-0 lead. Pass again, long. It's been quick ice tonight. That's going to go the length, and something you just can't afford to do. Ice the puck on a power play, especially when you're trailing.
Really like the Beacons, the way the Beacons have come out in this game. And I've seen a couple cases where they don't have that type of energy you look for. They don't have that initial spark, and sometimes I'd say they borderline on looking like they're not ready to play. Not the case tonight. This team has come out flying, and I can sense it a little bit in the warm-up. Watching these teams, they had good energy, and it has translated directly to this first period.
And these two teams, as a shot from the blue line is saved, got into a bare-knuckle brawl last year when they met in this building, and the majority of the rosters are back. Everybody remembers. So.
Oh, yeah. You remember the guys and who did what to who, and a little early on for that type of stuff, but I'm sure it'll escalate as the game goes on, especially probably to start in front of the net and proceed from there.
Although I do remember he's not here, so I guess we can say it. The real issue last year was Southern Maine's goaltender. His name is escaping me. He was as physical as you'll ever see a goaltender get. Shapiro, right? He's not. Yeah. He was a senior. He's gone. So.
Well, we'll see him tomorrow night. He's at New England College.
Oh, he's a transfer.
He's transferred. So we'll see him tomorrow night. And
so this really is grunge weekend for UMass Boston.
It is 90s grunge weekend, and I'll tell you this. The other thing is that team is good too. We saw them number 5 in the standings. They're going to be, but that, you know what? We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We'll leave that for the pregame tomorrow night, as just 10 seconds left on this Huskies power play, looking like the Beacons are going to clear it out.
You don't have to be as much of a player when you're up here. You don't have to feed we're not looking at headline like you're media now. You're supposed to get into that stuff.
Fair enough.
Sent down the ice as the penalty ends. It will not be icing. Huskies at least set themselves up with maybe an offensive possession. Nope, Beacons take it right back puck control all night so far for UMass Boston. A little work with the stick separates his man from the puck. Trying to get out to the blue line. Huskies are going to take it away. Skating hard up the near side. Cody Braga, he's going to follow that puck all the way down to the end boards, but can't get his stick on it. Up the blue line, deflected to the near side.
A little pass off the skate there by Redler. That was a nifty little pass there.
Curling around behind the net. Here's Colin. Larkin battling for the puck. Two players go down. The battle continues. Huskies almost clear it out, but they can't quite. Down to the doorstep. Oh, here we go. The wraparound closing the corner. Delosio cuts it off.
Well, I'll tell you what, that opportunity started with the defenseman, and we highlighted him as our player to watch tonight. Evan Heltz, the defenseman in the lineup. A lot of injuries, only 6 defensemen left on this roster, all playing tonight. But Evan Heltz on the nice pinch, a calculated pinch there, and was able to create another opportunity for Larkin towards the front of the net. And watch number 20 tonight. We'll see what this kid's capable of doing. Only 9. This is his 10th game played. Still considered a little bit of a rookie, but a nice play there. A calculated risk translated into some offense for the Beacons.
2-on-1, they take their man coming up the board, separate Sifrel in from the puck. Under 9 minutes to go, big time contact, 2-on-1. Brett Norman, the assistant captain for the Huskies, leading the charge, but the Beacons coming back the other way. Poke checked away, and a bit of a hip check on the back end of that one sends Wickline to the ice. Trying to get the puck out, and they do.
A couple injuries to note. Drew Gannon, as this puck will touch the ceiling, be out of play. Drew Gannon out with an ankle injury, and John Regnart also out with an injury. So 2 key players that have predominantly been starters for this Beacons team this year, both dealing with some injuries, and hope to get both back soon, I'm sure. But in the meantime, an opportunity for some of these other players to really step up and establish themselves as potential starters. And that's really what you look for when you're a player that's not in the lineup every night. When you're given an opportunity, you know, as bad as injuries are, they're a part of the game, and you really have to seize them when you get them.
Huskies controlling the puck in their defensive zone behind the net. Now the Beacons pressure, force them out, trying to go through 3 lines. That's tip, so no icing. No call, and a late call. As who was that sliding to the ice? Sasha Makarov, and a little bit of contact there.
Yeah, that's a tough call, a judgment call, if you're the referee there, because you've got 2 players racing for the puck. They're obviously going to be bumping, and if you've got one guy that loses an edge, oftentimes it can look like interference, which I think personally the case was there. I think you got 2 guys racing for a puck, some incidental contact. Ref saw it a different way. Truckern's going to sit for 2 on the interference call. Another opportunity here for the Huskies to tie this game.
And it starts the way the last power play ended. The Beacons clear the puck. And they cleared again. 7:48 to go in the first period. UMass Boston leading 1-0 on the goal by Colin Larkin. That came right off the jump, about 3 minutes in. Backhanded pass, they cannot get it to Papiano. And offsides is called. Beacons will go with a 3-man change. Huskies will swap all 4.
And this penalty kill unit, something to note is how well these Beacons remain in coverage. Even on the penalty kill, you're down a man, obviously someone's going to be left open, but the way this team recognizes coverage and can rotate their coverage to cover the people that are most likely to have scoring opportunities is something to watch if the Huskies are even able to enter the zone, which they've struggled with so far in this game.
Southern Maine on their second power play of the game. They have just 2 shots. Beacons have 7 so far. It's been a low shot game. So UMass Boston has found the net. Here we go. Here's a chance. 1-on-1 up the near side wing. The shot high and wide, glove sides. Cody Wickline. Beacons pass the puck back into their own zone. Going backwards to move forwards. That's the case. They send it down with 55 seconds to go in the penalty. Flicked forward, kissed off the boards. MacBurnie out of his net to play it. Now comes out to the blue line. Goes back and forth between the two teams. Picked up behind the net, thrown in front, knocked away by the defense. Garrett Gallagher was the one who poked it away. Puck comes out to Murphy. Murphy throws it inside, hits off a man, doesn't get to the cage. 18 seconds left on the penalty. We'll see if the Beacons play to keep it in this pie a little bit. Now it comes trickling out. Southern Maine has it. They had 2 men at the top. They could have kicked it out to the blue line for a one-timer, but were not able to get the puck away. Backhand to front hand. There's the shot, deflected wide by his own man. 2 seconds left in the penalty. Southern Maine looking for one last shot. We got a man without a stick. That's going to be tough for Southern Maine. Oh, watch the stick on the shot. He has to delay a second. Poked in front of the net. Bernie with the save. Rebound knocked wide.
Great shot and a great save. Braga on the redirect. Great save by MacBurnie.
And that stick, that is a Southern Maine stick on the ice, and it may have cost them a goal.
Well, it was right in the shooting lane, Alex, and the penalty will expire back to 5-on-5 here as this puck will go out of play. But you said it, it was right in the shooting lane. We'll give you a replay here, that last shot on goal, but it was right in the lane. And you can see here off the shot, that puck was redirected in front, and Braga on the redirect, MacBurnie with a really nice save. Anytime that puck is redirected, especially the closer it gets to the net, nearly impossible unless you're in the right position to make a save. You just don't have enough reaction time. But you saw there MacBurnie aggressive in the way that he played that puck. Came right out, attacked his angle, and was able to make the save.
Southern Maine keeping the pressure on, and now the puck clears the zone. It's a race. Oh, it's going to be close. Southern Maine able to bat it backwards, but the Beacons are going to get possession. Gliding in front. There's the shot at the doorstep, cutting off the angle. Making the save is Dalsario. He's got to get back down on it and buys himself some space. Dalsario with an excellent save on the wraparound attempt from Nolan Redler, looking for his 18th Lamplighter of the year. They battle in front of the Southern Maine bench. Beacons come out with it, backhanded towards the net, redirected. No, rebound is knocked away by the Huskies. Hesitation move, start and stop. Trying to backhand his way in, can't do it. And the Huskies clear once again, but the Beacons get there first. Nick Albano was the one who carried the puck back. Here's Zach Bross. Bross, the freshman, wide outside with the right hand, fires one into the glove of the freshman goaltender, and there'll be a face-off.
And a solid save there by D'Alicio. But one of the things that makes this Beacons top line so formative is the chemistry that they naturally have with each other. I mean, don't forget, they've only been a unit for this season. Bross, the freshman. Redler and Larkin have spent some more time together, but it's just natural. These guys know where to find each other, and you saw it there, in front of the net. Some of the passes that they make, you wouldn't be able to do without the type of chemistry that these guys have together, and we've been seeing it all year. That's one of the reasons their point totals, you combine that with their skill, and one of the reasons all their point totals are so high.
Kite blew a tire there, may have extended this Beacons possession if they can get the puck back. Washington knocks it away. MacBurnie thought for a second about coming out of the net to play that, realized his team was going to win the race anyway. Battled down in front. And sent deep by the Huskies. Contact in the far corner, puck behind the net. UMass Boston trying to clear it. Uh-oh, loose puck turned over in front of the net, goes up into the rafters.
That's a nice save, and a tricky save there. I think we just shot that puck. Pantalone, I think, was 19. Yeah, Pantalone on the shot there, and MacBurnie has to hug. He's got to respect the angle. So you got to hug the post there and seal that first. But then it leaves, if you're down on a knee, it leaves that upper corner a little bit. And Pantalone tried to steal it from him. MacBurnie was able to get himself upright and deflect that upward into the ceiling. That's a tough save, based on your angling. It's an unnatural position, but a good stop by MacBurnie.
Quick shot off the draw from Magliano is saved. Beacons quickly down the other way. And you see the physical play continue in the corner. Here comes Magliano, pushes it up ahead, and Huskies are going to use this as a chance to get some fresh skates on the ice. Keep the offensive possession deflected in front, and you can't play that any better if you're Ethan Basile. Just a better stop by MacBurnie.
Second time tonight where I've seen he's recognized the redirect is coming. And good reads by the goaltender to allow himself to challenge on that angle and take away any time and space that redirect has. And we're going to get a penalty. And it's going to be Southern Maine. And this is a bad penalty. And there's nothing going on here. And this is just the Beacons were completing a change, almost ready for their breakout. And you've got, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. You're going to have to help me here. 27, but you know,
Ethan Basile.
Yeah, Basile just in front there, just completely unwarranted, took a whack. Took a whack at the guy, and he's going to sit for 2 on the slash. I'm not sure what he was trying to do there. I mean, everyone's looking at you.
We saw that in the first game, right?
Yeah, just an unwarranted penalty there. You know, I'm not sure. I'm sure the coaching staff will have a word with him, but I mean, talk about no subtleties whatsoever. Everyone's looking at you. The puck's down your end. You just take an unwarranted slash. I mean, that's an easy call for the referees to make, and the Beacons will go right back on the power play with 2 minutes left in this period.
Yeah, their lone goal, a power play goal from Colin Larkin.
But just not smart, you know, and if you're the Southern Maine team, you got to recognize, you know, we're not the best in terms of special teams. It's not our strong point, so you got to limit the amount of time you spend, and interesting play, to say the least, to take a penalty in that situation.
Hang, shoots. It's knocked away by a defender and dropped back all the way. Pantalone with the block. He's been all over the ice tonight, Alex Pantalone.
Yes. You know, said his name a lot. Him in Washington.
A couple of seniors for the Huskies team. Now Bonno brings it into the zone, then quickly pulls up, sends it D to the far side. Wristed towards the net, deflected away. Back out it comes, and they wanted, looked like to get the puck out there to the point, but Colin Larkin had moved his spot. Whoever sent that pass out didn't realize that was the case. Larkin jabs at it. The puck goes back towards the Beacons' end. 45 seconds to go on the penalty. 1:20 to play in the period. Southern Maine pushes it back into the zone to Beacons. See, that's good teamwork right there. Easily could have collided, lost the puck. Bonno jumps out of the way, fires a shot, and it goes through the wickets of a defender. That was Maverick Lines. Beacons keep the puck. Sent down to the corner. Back out to the point. Fakes the slap shot, gets it back, lines up for the one-timer, deflected well wide. 10 seconds left in the penalty.
Might have been a save. Couldn't tell. Didn't hear anything. But by the reaction of the goaltender, might have got a piece of that. That puck might have been in the back of the net. It went off something.
That's a good look on the one-timer, and it's directed wide.
Solid save there. Losio with a couple good stops here. And other than that first goal, he's been forced to come up with a couple good ones this period.
Cody Wickline on the save. A little bit of contact there at the blue line as the penalty expires. 17 seconds to go in the period. Beacons looking perhaps for one last rush pass out to the far side. Southern Maine will drag it in. Wouldn't expect them to take too much of a risk here. But they could get an offensive look. Shot on net. Save made up into the netting with 1.8 left on the clock.
And good on MacBurnie to trust his angle there. That puck changed hands quickly. It was initially a shot that was blocked. I believe it was Norman who took the initial shot, and then it was followed up immediately by Braga, almost from the same release point. That can be tricky for a goaltender when it looks like initial shot's coming through, and then right behind it is a secondary shot, but MacBurnie trusted his angle and was able to make the save and direct it up into the netting.
Oh, no, late hit here. Hang on. We have a player down. The Beacons bench jumped up. I think the whistle, I thought I heard a whistle at the same time as the clock.
Well, it happened right as the buzzer went off, and seemed like the refs are going to definitely talk about it. It seemed like it was a penalty.
So
I thought they were going to call it, but we'll see here. It doesn't. Everyone's kind of waiting here. I think Southern Maine's waiting for it as well. Let's see. Beacons are going to go to the locker room and let the coaching staff and the referees discuss.
Steve Witkowski is down ice side, so we'll hear from him in a minute. We'll keep it here in the meantime. The other interesting thing, it seemed like Southern Maine was trying to get the officials' attention. Looks like they wanted to pull the goaltender there with 1.8 left.
I think they might have, yeah. I think late in the play. Here's a look at it. Yeah, and just, you know what? And there it is. Yeah, late, way after the whistle. I mean, the buzzer's, no, that's not even close to the puck. I'm surprised.
It's Cody Braga and Tyler Sifferlin.
Yeah, I'm surprised. You know, the coaching staff will probably want to talk to referees about that. But right now, we're going to send it down to Steve Witkowski. He's got Coach Blyle here after the first period.
A hot start with the early goal. You guys are coming off a long road trip in upstate New York, and they're coming off a good weekend, very competitive weekend. How important is that in conference play?
No, it's very important. All these games are so crucial down the stretch for playoff positioning. So, happy with that period. I thought we could have buried a couple more chances, but I like the way we played. I thought we were on them pretty good, and we're going to try to execute that second power play. Wasn't nearly as good as our first power play, so we're going to improve there. But overall, it was a decent period after the weekend prior. So
yeah, decent period. Obviously, you slow down a little bit by being in the box yourself. What do you kind of tell the guys going into the second period? What do you guys got to do better to kind of stay out of the penalty box?
Yeah, no, exactly. We have to stay out of the box because they got to try to bait us and take penalties, and they did a pretty good job of that. So we got to recheck our discipline, no question. So hopefully we can, we don't want any offensive zone penalties or a penalty like we took there. If you have to take a penalty, you take it in the D zone.
Hey, Coach, back to the booth.
All right, real quick, before we go to break here, I want to take one more look at that hit. Gigi's going to load it up for us because I'll tell you what, the other thing here, besides the fact that it's after the whistle, is it's right out. Not only is it after the whistle and after the buzzer, but it's a pretty high hit as well. I mean, okay, so face off here, and now watch, as he comes in here, he comes in, that's a heavy hit. I'm shocked. We'll have to bring that back to you. We'll bring that back to you after the first period highlights, but right now we're going to give you an inside look. Men's hockey highlights, give you an inside look at what this men's team is doing to be so successful this season, especially with that top line. We'll bring that to you right now on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass Boston men's hockey is known for their high-octane offense, and this year is no different. The Beacons rank second in the nation with their 4.76 goals per game. A huge part of their success is credited to their top line. Senior Colin Larkin leads the nation in points, sophomore Nolan Redler is first in goals, and freshman Zach Bross paces all D3 freshmen in points. Hi, and welcome back to another edition of Behind the Beacon. I'm your host, Gigi Braga. This week, we caught up with the Beacons' white line to discuss how they developed into one of the top lines in all of Division III.
Zach Bross is the muscle on that line. He's the power forward that's going to really finish hits. He's a great first forechecker, finishes a hit clean, very heavy on the puck. And you've got Colin Larkin. I think he's one of the best skaters in our game at our level. And Nolan Redler may not be the biggest or the best skater, but his hockey sense is through the roof, and I think that's why they complement each other so well.
Right off the bat, we've been working really well from the start, and then even coming back after Christmas break, we didn't miss a step, and just we know we have to score goals, and our team relies on us to get points, and so we've been working to do that every game. Coming in, Coach, it sounded like he had a lot of expectations for myself and for the line, and so coming in right away, it was a little bit of pass-first mentality with playing with these two. Nolan came out hot and scored a lot of goals right away, and Colin obviously knows how to score from his past few years, so a little bit of expectations. It was a little scary at first, but the preseason game we played well together, and then right off the bat it was pretty good and felt at home on this line.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever scored this many goals in my career. With Zach coming in, Zach's been a really good playmaker, but I mean, honestly, I think it's more all of us just getting the puck to the net, and I just so happen to be the one banging home the majority of the rebounds, but on any given night, that could be any one of us. Next year, I could have 6 goals, and Zach could have 20. It's not that I'm being targeted or anything. It's more just I've been the one crashing their rebounds. Next year, he could be the one crashing my rebounds. Yeah, I think the hot shot's a really good fit for our line just because, he's a big body. He's really good in the corners. He's good at protecting the puck. And I think we just win a substantial more amount of battles this year than we did last year, which helps lead into more offense.
No, I don't think it's particularly a guy having a big night. I think every night we expect to produce offense, and we just go about our business the same way every game. It's no different if a guy's having a good night or not. It certainly helps, but I think the business and the mentality is the same every night. I think the ability to make plays has given us success this season so far, and also the success of the other lines kind of take the pressure off us and give us a little more freedom to make plays and get chances.
Colin Larkin is the engine that drives that line. He drives our team. His leadership has been incredible this year. I think he's the best player in college hockey, and he's centering, certainly our best line. And I think he's proving it on paper with, leading the country in scoring.
I think my mentality is I have to push myself and be the center of the line and push the wingers and kind of drive the pace. But like I said, I've always been playing with good players, and they're able to make plays. And I know if I give it to them, I'll get it back. Or if I give it to them, they'll put it in the net. And that's a good feeling. And I don't think my mentality has changed. I think my leadership role in the team has obviously changed, becoming the captain, assistant captain last year. But with the line, it's just building chemistry and trying to make a play every time.
A lot of times we end up in the same spot because we sort of think and play the game the same way. So guys are near each other, just easy to make plays, bounce the puck off each other, get it moving, and just expect the guy, as I've been saying, to get where he needs to be and do what he needs to do.
I'd say it's so much as building trust. It's like, figuring out where they're going to be, almost getting a feel for them, right?
Yeah.
Would you say, rather than trusting them, knowing where they're going to be on the ice and stuff like that.
Luckily, they picked our school and our program, and having that carrot of playing with, I think one of the best players in the country, and Colin Larkin was certainly thrown around in the recruiting process to Zach, and he had to come in and shape and prove that he could play with him, and he certainly has. And I think the same goes for Nolan Redler 2 years ago. He was a sought-after recruit for us, and knowing that his potential and the points that he put up could, really mesh well with a guy like Colin. So it's certainly something you talk about in the recruiting process, but at the end of the day, a lot of things going to fall into place to make sure it's a fit.
I really don't care. As long as we're winning games and the line is performing, and really as long as we don't have a minus, I don't care how the game goes. If we win and we're plus, it was a good game for us.
Oh, yeah, and these guys bust each other up pretty good, and I think we got some great chemistry on our team. And just the other day, they were talking about on the bus, are we ready to go? And the guys would chime in the back, okay, Coach, the white line's here. That's our first line. They're here. We can go. So there's a lot of camaraderie and stuff like that goes into it. But we've got some great secondary scoring this year to complement, a really productive line like our first line. And I think that's really a testament to our success up until this point.
The Beacons return home this weekend as they host the University of Southern Maine and New England College. With only 8 games left, they sit just 1 point behind conference leaders Norwich University. I'm your host, Gigi Braga. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the Edward Berry Ice Rink. Through 20 minutes, the numbers. And the power play goal, the difference right now, Colin Larkin is 16th of the year from Nick Bonno, though they added that assist late, and Zach Bross. We knew about Bross. I just want to let everybody know that is Nick Bonno's 19th assist of the season. That is most among defensemen. He also now has 24 points, also best among blue liners, and not that far off the numbers. It hasn't been as lopsided numerically as it's felt on the ice, which is often the case with these teams. Take a look around Beaconville now. You are joining, if you joined us for the doubleheader, you saw women's hockey pick up the win over Salve 3-1. Doubleheader in basketball tomorrow. They'll host Keene State, as Matt would like to say. Storylines plenty in that one, and track and field will be on the road in a meet tomorrow as well out in the western portion of the state. Let's take a look around the conference. Matt talked about it a lot in the pregame conference. It's all very close. towards the top. New England College, they'll be in here tomorrow night. They trail Babson 2-1 at the end of the first. Number 14, Hobart, shutting out Castleton 2-0. They're through 20 minutes. And Skidmore and Norwich knotted at 2. And if Skidmore can even hold to a draw, that would be huge for the Beacons going forward. They got Norwich in a couple of weeks. Those are the top two teams in the conference right now. Let's take a look back at the first half highlights. It's going to be a lot of defense.
In the slot, shot goes wide
And
back
right away,
into
this is
the penalty.
right off the jump. UMass Boston was getting great shot chances. Here's the first goal. You see the hesitation move by Larkin. Southern Maine then went on a bit of an offensive charge as they tried to answer. And they were trying to do it quickly. They were trying to get breakouts, and it's been an excellent start in net for Bailey MacBurnie. You see both goalies going back. That was one. It's been a lot of breakaway chances. Both goalies have played exceptionally well. Here you see on the rebound save. Getting later in the period, the Beacons had a couple late power plays in that period. A couple of late chances to extend the lead. They would fail to do so. I mentioned MacBurnie playing well. He's got 8 saves. Anthony Delosio, the freshman, has 11 saves and the 1 goal allowed. And then at the end of the period, well, here's what set up the draw. That was a nice shot by Braga, and then on the final face-off, things getting a little questionable. Was it late? Was it not? The officials let it go. Teams will start second period 5-aside despite that ending. Going to throw to a break now. We'll be back on the other side, second period. Through 20 minutes, UMass Boston 1, Southern Maine Huskies 0 on the Beacon Broadcast Network. teams come back out on the ice as we get ready to start the second period. 5 aside, despite that hit you just saw in the highlights. And, I mean, Matt, I'm going to guess both teams talked about that in the dressing room. And is that going to ratchet this game up a little bit?
Well, I saw the referees going over to Southern Maine, and you could see, I don't know if we have the camera, you can kind of see in the back of your screen right now, you can see, I'm assuming, we have no idea what they're talking about, but I would assume that Chuckrin's talking about it again. It's not going to be a 2-minute call on it regardless, still one aside, and I'll tell you what, statistically from that period, pretty even period. Shots are only 12-8, and if you're the Huskies, you know, you're kind of thinking, hey, we're really not doing that bad. You know, we're in this hockey game despite, I'm sure time of possession is heavily in the favor of the Beacons, but for all intents and purposes, this is still, you know, kind of a toss-up hockey game. And so a crucial second period here, your hope if you're a Beacons fan is that they look at the scoreboard, recognize it's still 1-0 when it kind of feels like it might be 2 or 3-0.
If you are UMass Boston, is there a feeling that there needs to be retribution, that you can't just let that go as they throw one in front and it's covered? Yeah, I think my guess is knowing Coach Blisle, having played for him, he probably just addressed it and said forget it, because the last thing you want to do is try to take a retaliatory call here and then you put yourself shorthanded. You know, you let the refs you assume will even it up for you. They'll get one for you and give you one back to you that they missed. But the last thing you want to do is try to take, you know, the refereeing into your own hands. It never really works out. Team switch sides as we begin the second period. UMass Boston moving right to left in the white jersey, Southern Maine in the blue.
And by the way,
left to right.
I want to take my minus back. I was right. Albano did get an assist that we were both right.
Yep.
So I'm not taking a minus there. I'm even. I'm back to even.
The lone goal seems like good time to bring it up. The lone goal in this game, a power play goal from Colin Larkin early in the first period, assisted by Zach Bross and Nick Albano. Beacons trying to add a second. Out to the dot, wristed behind the cage, backhanded towards the net. The save is made. Southern Maine just pushed it towards the side. Surprised they didn't go to the breakout there.
Yeah, they had 3 Beacons caught behind the play. My guess is likely at the end of a shift, as you see the majority of the players change there. So likely at the end of a shift, didn't have the speed and recognized it before it was too late.
Nick Albano delivered a big hit on that defensive possession to break it up. Pucks dumped in, and you don't want to get a whistle off a dump in. And it looks like that's going to be a dead puck up in the netting. I don't think they're going to get him for ice. Oh, they might. They're going to bring it outside of the zone.
Yeah, I think incidental there. It went directly up, hit the ceiling, so it won't penalize the Beacons by having it be an in-zone draw. Very exciting weekend, Alex. Alumni weekend here for the Beacons, and you might have missed me on the intermission report, but a lot of familiar faces, guys you don't typically see on a regular basis, and good to see some of these guys come back and support their Beacons for a weekend. A lot of guys from out of state, a couple guys from D.C., New York, Florida. So good to see some of these guys, and hopefully we can bring a couple of them to you, maybe later tonight or definitely tomorrow.
And I mean, as a player, as you go through the years, you must know some of the alumni coming back. Is it any different? Like you always hear, it's alumni weekend, you got to get the win. But is it any different when you're out there?
Yeah, probably not right now. It's an unwritten rule, or I don't want to say rule, but unsung, I should say, that, alumni weekend, you want to walk away with 4 points. You want to take care of your alum who have come to support you, and it's not something that's going to be written on the pregame wall as a, hey, let's win this one for the alumni. But, guys, especially the seniors, as we'll get a penalty here. It looks like we're going to get a penalty.
Yeah, Beacons may have just taken that retaliatory shot. Garrison Santapass just hit, I didn't see who it was. He hit somebody from behind the play, sent him down to the ice. That's going to get him. See, they can get him for a number of things based on that hit. But here we go. Third power play of the night for Southern Maine. They're 0 for 2.
Yeah, and again, still only a 1-0 hockey game. And any team, I don't care what the percentages are on the season, but you give a team enough opportunities on the man advantage, and they will find a way to capitalize. Beacons need to be careful here. They don't let this one slip away by spending too much time in the box as this puck is deflected out of play. But, just finishing up that last point, definitely a sense of pride for some of these seniors who are familiar enough with guys who have played recently and guys who have played in years past to, want to bring it home for those guys and show them what they're capable of, especially being the 6th ranked team in the country.
Puck sent the length by the Beacons. They'll clear. 1:46 to go on the penalty. 17:35 to go in the period. Southern Maine's going to try to break it out here once again. They really just have not generated any offense on the power play. 8 shots total. This is their third man-up chance. They haven't been able to get the puck in the zone.
No, the Beacons have done a great job on the breakout in really taking away the passing lanes. As you see here, staying up on that blue line, and now they'll be able to get to the puck before the Huskies. Huskies pressuring, and looks like they'll be able to keep this one in. We'll see what they do with it.
Calling for a shot from the wrist. Calling for it on the far side was Dundas. He was left all alone. If they'd found him, he would have had a great look on a one-timer. Battle behind the net. Now they get it out to Dundas. Has some defense on him. Drops it down into the circle. Blue line pass goes back down to the half-boards on the far side. Deflected in front of the net by Matthew and sent wide. Couldn't get it on the goaltender, MacBurnie. It's yet to been tested this period. 51 seconds left on the penalty. Southern Maine will try to bring it in again. They do. Holding. Drops it off on the backhand. From the point off the boards. Back to the outside. Hesitates. Gets it back, holds it. Short two-man game for Southern Maine. Beacons are going to bring the double team and force the puck down low. To the red line. Cross-ice pass, one-timer, no good. Goalie out of the net. Did he fall on it? Yes. MacBurnie took a risk and it paid off.
Oh, great save. A great save and a partial screen for sure. Not sure he got a clean read off of it, but was in the right position. And there was a rebound for a quick second, but good tracking by Bailey MacBurnie. Was able to corral that puck and get a whistle for an in-zone draw. Still 18 seconds left on this power play, and Southern Maine trying to find ways to get this towards the front of the net. Beacon's doing a good job taking away the passing and the shooting lanes right now.
Wanted the one-timer, but the puck was too far into his skates. The Beacons clear with 9 seconds to go. That should do it for the penalty. Santa Pass is up on the boards, ready to come in. 2 seconds left, and Southern Maine ices the puck. And the time's off the clock, so the Beacons will get an offensive zone face-off, 5-on-5.
Ref sending some Huskies back onto the ice, trying to make a change there prior to the whistle, but obviously with the icing engaged, going to have to come back onto the ice.
They're going to put 2 more on. They only have 3 on the ice right now.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who it was that's on the ice, and no way the Huskies are going to be honest. They're going to try to send out fresh guys, but on the referee to know who was on the ice, and so sure the center will get tossed, and sure enough, we'll get a draw.
And it's won by Cody Braga, who's one of those men in off the bench. Well, not in off the bench, back in, right, because he was already in the game.
Yep.
Contact up the near side. Southern Maine back into the zone off the power play. Wrapping it around, pushing it in front. And on top of it is MacBurnie. Had some help from his teammates as well to clear that puck out. Southern Maine still on the attack. That puck hops over a skate, goes back behind the net. Reversing direction is Gallagher. Oh, dangerous pass in front of the net. But the Beacons do finally get the puck cleared with 15:15 to go in the period.
Beacons need an energy shift. Not seeing that same energy we saw in the first period. It's been a little bit quieter in here. Haven't seen that physical presence, haven't seen that speed. As a shot on goal there will get stopped by D'Alosio, but haven't seen that same energy. And that's something the Beacons need. And they're really pressing. You can kind of feel it in the building as they stack their shifts, and you can kind of feel the lines rolling, and probably has to do with the fact they took a penalty just there, but need that to be better. Need a little bit more energy out of this team. It's still, again, it's still only a 1-0 hockey game.
Justin Holiday on the draw. It's up against Ethan Basile. Beacons win the face-off, but oh, they do keep it in the zone. All right, quick shot, saving the light pad. Rebound comes all the way out to the blue line. Another shot goes wide of the net. Huskies trying the quick play again, coming up the ice, thrown to the end boards. Now Bonno had the first touch behind the net. Now Ray's coming down the other way. There's the big hit you're looking for, Matt. Now it's getting a little scrappy.
Well, you can see it, and he put out his 4th line, the yellow line, and it's led by Justin Holiday, who has played very well of late with Dominic Blatt and Dakota Keene on the wings, but that's Coach Blyle trying to get an energy spark to his team, and let's see if it pays off. A nice shot, a good save.
Shoulder save made. That's a younger line, a junior and Holiday and 2 sophomores. Out to the blue line it comes. Sent D to D. He's got room to shoot. He's going to put it in front. Late shot goes high. Nick Albano with the chance.
And if that's in his wheelhouse, it's probably in the back of the net. Pass was just a little bit off. But if that's on the tape, that's going to be a tricky save as Chukrin's got a lane.
Oh, look at this. 2-on-1. Back crease pass. And it's taken wide. A big hit on the back end.
Southern Maine really on the ropes right now. Beacons are pressing.
Looking for that knockout blow. Wristed towards the net off the end boards. Chukrin first one to it. Tied up, a little pushing and shoving. Oh, here we go. That's going to draw a whistle. The question is, will there be a penalty with it?
Well, this is important. This is an important shift for both teams here. Beacons with a lot of momentum and putting a lot of pressure onto this Huskies team with a couple good shifts back-to-back. And it'll be interesting. Let's see who the Beacons put out there, who Coach Blau decides to go with. The same can be said for the Huskies. They need to win this draw and get this puck deep, start to play a little bit of offense. They've been defending now for a good 2-3 minutes. And it looks like the Beacons will win that draw.
It's the third line for the Beacons. Sifferlin, McGregor, and Riley. The top line for the Huskies. Magliano, Pantalone, and Norman. Shot for the Beacons. Bobbled initially, but grabbed. And it will be another face-off.
And smart by D'Alosio to cover. He needs to slow things down right now. And any chance he gets, if I'm him, I'm covering it, slow it down, get the pace back to where you like it versus letting things ride. Another face-off win for the Beacons. They continue to pressure here.
Murphy trying to get to the puck. The Beacons get there first. Tapped backwards. Now skating back out along the half boards. That was David McGregor. That third line still on. Beacons have a couple guys up on the boards. They're ready for a change. Looks like they're trying to get that top line with Colin Larkin back on the ice. Off the boards on the near side. Oh, there's a big hit. Johnny Kite lowers the shoulder, and it's Tyler Sifrin. You can see it developing. Beacons, though, might have a scoring opportunity off it. Dangling in front. The shot. Save made. It goes up into the netting.
Best save of the night for D'Alosio. All alone in front was David McGregor. He had nobody around but white jerseys. He was virtually a 3-on-0 in front. That looked like something out of practice versus something in a game. And D'Alosio, he's laughing with the ref right now. He's like, hey, man, that was all by myself. No one around. You look at that replay, you can see real quick there. We'll bring it back to you after the whistle. But it was all alone, just white jerseys around D'Alosio. He's able to make the first save, and then the second one went up into the netting, but his best of the night.
Peter Belisle says, you want to flex? I'll flex. Both top lines on the ice right now. Each team just made a 5-man switch. 12:28 to go in the second period of a 1-0 hockey game. Turned over in front of the net. It goes wide.
It was a bad turnover there, Alex. Right on your doorstep, and Beacons are fortunate that didn't end up on net.
Behind the cage it goes. Pushed forward by Brian Carter. Here they go in front of the glass. Beacons come out with it, sent backwards to Gallagher. The second pairing, Carter and Gallagher for the Beacons, feels like they've been on the ice tonight more than anybody else. Called their names quite a bit.
They walk a lot of minutes, night in and night out. A lot of minutes for those two.
Into the near side corner. Puck still free along the boards. Now it ends up behind the net. 11:45 to go in the period. Longest the Huskies have had the puck in their offensive zone for quite a while, even if they don't have possession. Beacons flip it forward, cleared out, puck stays in play. That's a perfect lead pass. Defense was right there. If they hadn't been, it would be very easy for the defense to sleep on that play. We're looking at a 2-0 game. Instead, the Huskies with a chance to even it up. Puck shoots wide. Is it in the net? Yes!
Well, the refs are going to have to talk about this. I don't know.
We're going to need another look at that one.
Yeah, the refs have got to have a conversation. It's called a goal on the ice, but I'll tell you what, this is borderline goaltender interference, and they are going to talk about it. You see the refs at center ice. They're talking about it right now.
Let's look. Well, they talk about it. We're getting kind of an early feed on the replay.
So the puck, you're allowed to, the forward is as much right to that puck as the goaltender. What you're not allowed to do is inhibit the goaltender from making a save. And so as you see here, this puck, he's taking it to the net. Nothing wrong here, but watch. There's your shot. And now, okay, hey, I'll tell you what. I think it's a good goal. I think he got shoved in.
Yeah, if you're shoved into the goaltender, it's fair game.
Yep, it's allowed. And I think Gallagher might have made some contact there, and that's going to count, you know. And so the Beacons find themselves up tied at 1. I think that's a good call by the referees. Anytime you have a play like that, there should be a conference to make sure everyone saw the same thing. Clearly, they saw some contact from the D, and another turnover there is McBurnie's going to have to come out and play it, but I think that's a good call by the referees, and we've got a 1-1 hockey game.
Look, as good as the Beacons have been, they have just 2 shutouts all year. It's not their game to clamp down defensively.
No, they
they're
like
out
to
here
run
for shootouts.
Yeah, they like to run, and they do play solid D, but not to the point where they're going to try to beat teams, 1-0 or 2-1. And what's interesting now is this is exactly what we talked about pregame that Southern Maine was likely going to try to do to this Beacons team, is keep it close, maintain the pace, maintain the physicality, and if you can bury one, now you've got a 1-1 hockey game and you're halfway through the game already. You want to shorten that time, and they've done a great job here. Almost halfway through the game, you're still tied. And if you're a Huskies player or a Huskies fan, you've got to feel pretty good about the way your team's playing right now.
That was, by the way, Mark Tomachek, his first goal of the season, the sophomore, on the Huskies' 15th shot of the game. Waiting on the assist. We'll get those to you when we have them. Draw won by the Huskies. 10:48 to go in the second period. Tied at 1. Beacon without a stick, so it's the Huskies fighting themselves for the puck. They realize what's going on and just push it further down the line. Trying to get out of the zone. They had a man up ahead. It was Washington, but the pass was deflected. Faceoff's going to come back in the zone here.
Hasn't been the same consistency to the Beacons this period. It's been a challenging period for them. I've not seen the same energy on the bench. They have not been up. They have not been as loud. And you almost wonder, did that first intermission hurt them a little bit? They seem to have come out with a lot of energy, ready to play tonight. And sometimes you go into that locker room, some of that dissipates naturally as some of the energy you had going into the game wears off. And so now you've got a team. We're in a hockey game here. And one thing to note, Chukrin, it looked like, I was trying to get the number, and it looked like it was 27. It looked like Gabe Chukrin was headed to the locker room. Didn't look like an injury. Looked like it might have been an equipment issue, but something to note is he's one of the top defense for the Beacons, so they're limited to 5 right now, as we'll keep you posted and make sure he's coming back to the ice. But with 10:21 left in this second period here, Alex, a 1-1 hockey game, and we're in for a duel.
Quick note as well, official score is going to give that goal to Jerome Witkowski, so still the first goal of the season for the sophomore. That sentence stands. Mark Tomachek will get the assist. It's his second. That line, and it's a patchwork line. It's not a regular line. Witkowski's played 9 games. Tomachek's played 10. Papayanu's played 15, but not all together. Coming into this game, those 3, that's their second line. 0 goals, 3 assists, 3 points on the season.
And a hard play. That's what you would expect from a team like this. Taking pucks to the front of the net and trying to jam one in there. Not looking like they're going to be the type of team that's going to be able to snipe too much like we saw in the Larkin goal. Going to be much more gritty than that, as we'll see. Is this going to get waved off? It is. Good play by Riley to beat out that icing.
Beacons may have beat a tripping penalty on the backside of this one, too. 9:38 to go in the period. They got men closing in, waiting for the puck at the top for UMass Boston. Was Evan Held. He wanted a chance at a one-timer. They didn't see him.
Huskies are all over the Beacons. They have no time and space right now. You can see Riley just trying to find somebody. A great effort to keep that puck in the zone, but the Huskies are really doing great in terms of their D-zone coverage. There is nowhere for the Beacons to go right now.
Up into the rafters, and another late-ish hit.
Oh, boy.
And it was Adam Papayannu crashing into, is that 13 down there?
Yeah,
Jack Riley.
That's Riley. And the glove came off pretty quickly there. Let's see. He's looking like he's in some pain.
And unfortunately, it looked like the glove came off before he hit the wall. And everybody in the city of Boston's been fixated on hand injuries for the last week.
More football related.
Looked like he may have banged his hand on the wall when he went into it.
It could, you don't want to speculate, obviously. I try not to.
Right.
But a hit like that, the way he went in, you'll have to see. Could be a shoulder. That's usually the first thing the trainers will check out. So we'll keep you posted. Jack Riley there is being attended to by the medical staff, and looks like Chukrin is back. It looks like it was an equipment issue. So they gain Chukrin, but for the moment they lose Riley. We'll keep you posted.
And no penalty called, by the way, so it was an offensive zone face-off for the Beacons, which they won. Puck comes out to the blue line, thought about the slap shot, didn't have it. Wrister, it's loose in front, falling down, and the whistle's blown. And some extracurriculars.
And that is absolutely going to escalate in this game. Being 1-1, you're going to see a lot of more stuff after the whistle. And a nice play there, Gallagher, to recognize, didn't have the shooting lane originally. Had a lot of time, but didn't have the lane. And so changed the angle a little bit, took a stride to his right, was able to change the angle and kind of wrist one in there on net. D'Alosio with the stop. And no rebound. Redler was right there waiting for him, but there was no rebound.
So I just realized, since we had a stoppage right there, we're supposed to do this at the beginning of the period. We'll have our trivia question of the day for you coming up.
Oh, fantastic. I don't know if I've gotten one yet, Alex. Maybe you'll be the charm I need.
Wrist shot goes wide. Slap shot from outside the zone is deflected. It barely got across the blue line. This is going to kind of be a patchwork possession here for Southern Maine as they try to set it up. Wrist one in on the net, and the save is made by MacBurnie. All right, today's trivia question. Colin Larkin sits second in program history with 18 power play goals. What former, I think they kind of gave it away.
What former me? What former Matt Meisenbacher owns?
I'm going to guess. I know you were told, but I'm going to guess Matt Meisenbacher just because it's right there.
No, yeah, I don't think it's me. I don't think it's me.
Maybe Matt Meisenbacher. Teammate is Southern Maine takes the leader on the backside. Brett Norman going backhand around MacBurnie. 2 straight for the Huskies.
Yeah, right off the draw. And as we're looking at the trivia question, next thing you know, a lost draw for the Beacons, and it's in the back of the net.
Don't sleep on them.
This team, and just like that, they are right back into this hockey game, and now they've got the lead. You're going to see right off the draw here, we're bringing this replay, and if you blinked, you might have missed it. But this is a set face-off play that the Huskies run, no doubt about it. And they send 2 guys to the front of the net. We'll get that to you next whistle, but that's a set face-off play that they executed to perfection. I'll break it down for you next whistle, but the Huskies got a 2-1 lead now, and all of a sudden in control of this hockey game.
It's going to be the 3rd of the year for Brad Norman, the senior assistant captain.
The other thing to note, Alex, more bad news if you're a Beacons fan. Jack Riley is headed to the locker room. He was being attended to still by the medical staff. Not looking like he's expected to return based on the way they were bringing him to the locker room. So we'll have to keep you posted on that front. Didn't look to be too serious, looking like an upper body injury, but we will keep you posted, and as we're updated, we'll bring that to you. Jack Riley headed to the locker room.
Assists on that goal to Patrick Magliano, his 4th, and Johnny Kite, his first point of the year. The sophomore gone 12 games without recording goal or an assist, in his 13th. Lucky number 13, and gets a helper. And it is worth noting, Matt, Beacons obviously are chasing Norwich, who we saw tied with Skidmore at the end of their first period, 2-2. So
interesting.
You talked about really how competitive and close this conference is. Here's exhibits A and B as the Huskies almost took a 2-goal lead. They're going to keep it in the zone. Wrister gloved out of the air by MacBurnie.
Well, I'll tell you what, and we'll bring you this replay. Watch this face-off as you're going to come out of the corner. As soon as they win it, back to the top, and they send 2 forwards there. And that's a really simple face-off play. You win the draw, you get it back to either a forward or to a D, you just kind of float one on net and then send 2 forwards to the front. And all you're looking for there is a tip or a redirect, and sure enough, off the rebound, and next thing you know, it's a 2-1 game. And I'll tell you what, I mentioned it, I said it before, with D'Alosio trying to slow down the game. If I'm MacBurnie, I'm trying to slow things down now too. I've got the Huskies with a ton of momentum. You got to try to slow things down, allow your team to get some shifts into the offensive zone.
And for the Beacons offensively, whether they haven't gotten the minutes or they just haven't been that effective, Nolan Redler, Colin Larkin, Zach Bross, after that early goal, we really haven't said their names tonight. That is a nice job at the attempted redeflection off the Helt shot. Beacons now playing with a little more energy. Wrister from the blue line, it's loose in front, somebody's got to find it, it's knocked away. Oh, that puck was sitting right there, nobody could find it. Held back down on the other end, gathers it up, goes D to D to John Bonno. Bonno back to Helt. Helt hops over a stick. Southern Maine sends it back in. Shuffled forward, big hit behind the net. Kept in the zone by Southern Maine. Wrister knocked away by MacBurnie.
That was a bad pass right up the middle. Wickline's got to know better than that. A pass up the middle there on the ice, and that's an easily intercepted pass. He's fortunate that that wasn't a better attempt by the Huskies. A pretty routine save there if you're MacBurnie, but Wickline can't be making those plays up the middle.
Beacons finally get out of the zone. Santa pass. And push it in deep. The Beacons will get a change. Yeah, Carter Gallagher pairing back on the ice. And for the forwards, it looks like it's that 4th line again of Blad, Holiday, and Keene. This is Blad on the far side. Trying to cover and just grabbing it. is D'Alosio. That could have been ugly.
Well, not only that, but I'm sure the referees is going to let him know. You've got to be careful. Yeah, and you see there, they're talking. You've got to be careful as a goaltender. If you go to play the puck and then cover it like that, you can get whistled for delay of game. And I'm sure the referee, maybe half-heartedly let them know, hey, listen, if you're going to play it, but you can't do both. You either play it or whistle it. I've seen goaltenders get called for delay of game, not so much in that type of play, but anything more than that, and you're putting yourself at risk.
Beacons win the face-off behind the net, bumps off the cage. Southern Maine gets the rebound, and they send it off the end boards, looking to go backwards, to go forwards. Diving attempt to break the play up by Carter. He couldn't get there. Southern Maine gets it clear. 4:48 to play in the second period. It has been a 2-0 advantage for the Huskies in this period. 2-1 game. Beacons looking to tie. Dangled a shot, deflected wide. Excellent defensive play by the freshman Maverick Lines.
Yeah, Lines with a great play. He totally committed and knew it was Larkin. Recognized the player and forced him to try and make a fantastic play. Larkin tried to toe drag, and Lines with a great defensive play got a stick on it, deflected it wide.
A little pushing and shoving as the puck's knocked out of the zone. Ty Zampanello, the former Beacon, was going at it with it looked like Justin Holiday.
Beacons just don't have the same mojo. Haven't seen the same in the first period. Been waiting for it to happen all period and really haven't seen it here. It's a nice pass.
There we go. This could be it. The shot goes just wide. They had a little bit a couple minutes ago, it seemed like right after the injury.
It came in spurts, but again, I look over and the bench hasn't looked the same, and I'm not seeing that same confidence on the ice. Another shot, and that one didn't miss by much.
You've got to wonder maybe if that hit at the very end of the first period did take something out. So the shot is blocked and the puck pops out of the zone.
They could really use a couple good shifts here. With 3:30, just about 3:30 left in this period, could really use a couple good shifts here. Even if they can't score, maybe to just gather some momentum for the third period here. But being down at home, they got to get something going.
East to west pass is intercepted at center ice. Here we go. No, it's poke checked away. Looks like he had all the momentum coming forward, but Adam Papiano, he's been a pest tonight. Broke the play up. Trying to go blue line to blue line, they can't. Played backwards by D'Alosio. Fluttering puck in front of the net, and again it's turned over.
That's just a soft play, and Blad's got to recognize blown coverage there. Two Beacons caught. Good save.
It's still loose. Now it ends up behind the net. We're going to get a penalty.
Yep. And on a trip, and two Beacons got caught at the blue line and generated a couple opportunities, and now they're going to sit for two. And they have really let this game slip away as the Huskies going to get a nice opportunity here. They're going to go on the power play. Chuckrin's second penalty of the night. But the Huskies, and this is a crucial point in the hockey game, if the Huskies can find a way to score here, put themselves up 2 going into the third period, they're going to really make life difficult. They have really done well defensively. They've changed their scheme a little bit and gone very aggressive in their D zone, and it's causing fits for the Beacons. Haven't been able to figure it out. And now on the power play, this Huskies team that already has scored on one today.
That goal actually came right after. So technically, even though they scored right at the end of power play, the good news for the Beacons is the Huskies are 0 for 3. The bad news, this is their 4th chance. The question is, are they due a 12% power play team?
Yeah, statistically 0 for 3. But the power play has looked pretty good, and they've been finding ways to get those pucks to the net. And an in-zone draw here can really eat some of this clock, but a Beacons team, we have seen them try some things shorthanded. We've seen it a little bit this season, and if they have an opportunity, don't be surprised if the Beacons try to seize it.
About 50 seconds between the penalty clock and the game clock. 1:30 on the penalty, 2:20 left to play in the period. D-to-D pass. Thought about the wrister, didn't have it. Steps back, goes back along the blue line. Shuffled across, back out to the point. Hesitates. To the near side wing. Down to the goal line. Back up to the point to Lines, the freshman. Looking for room, doesn't have it. Gets it off to Norman, already with 1 goal. And that one snatched out of the air at the last second by the glove of Bailey MacBurnie.
Yeah, really nice play there by the Huskies. There's some extra stuff after the whistle, but a really nice play by the Huskies. Didn't have much in terms of the coverage that the Beacons were giving them, so they ran what they call a scissor play. And you just drop a little pass there, allow someone to come up, grab it, and sure enough, right in the slot. And you said it, I think it was Norman all alone.
Yep.
And a great glove save there by MacBurnie. It was a high slot, and that's a shooter's gift, but MacBurnie was up to the task with a nice save, and there you see it cleared by the Beacons.
After that play, it was Cody Braga who had to be escorted off the ice by the officials. He was the one who had that late hit at the end of the first period. It's worth noting. Huskies will try to get another rush going. Coming up the near side, Patton loses the puck. It's a race to it behind the net and sent down again. That was a smart play by MacBurnie to not play it. He almost jumped on it and realized he had help.
No, yeah, smart play. Knew he had his defense there, and rather than take the end zone draw and take a whistle, keep the clock moving, send it all the way down, and still 20 seconds left on this power play.
That's somebody, it's either, I can't tell if that's a full stick down. There might be a broken stick.
Yeah,
it is. I see the other part now on the other side as the Beacons clear again with 7 seconds to go in the penalty.
Yeah, should be able to clear this off, but less than a minute now in this period, and going to take something pretty nifty in order to tie this one up before. It looks like for all, most commonly going to be Beacons with a chance.
Oh, wait,
here.
hang on. Here we go. Colin Larkin, that's the guy who won, and he lost it. Fed it across the crease late, couldn't get it there.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to draw a power play. And Redler got hauled down. Larkin tried to find him on the backdoor pass, and we're going to get a Beacons power play. Redler was absolutely hauled down, and it looks like it's going to be Magliano who's going to go on the hook or on the trip, whichever they'd like to call. But Beacons now with 35 seconds here, so unless they score, going to be some carryover into the third period, which is a great way to start the third, obviously, if they're still down, but would likely prefer a goal here and tie things up going into the third. We'll see what they generate here. It'll be interesting if they try to set up for maybe one or two quality shots, or if they try to get a couple quick ones and do it that way. Really give or take. Tough way to start, though. Win the draw, and you get a free clear there on a clean win.
So they end up sending not 28 but 29, Mark Tomachek. Beacons with 23 seconds left in the period, and then they'll get about a minute 30 on a clean sheet of ice, up a man. Behind the net it goes. Dangling, pops it out to the blue line. Three seconds to shoot. Beacons get one off. It goes wide of the net. And that will do it for the second period. 40 minutes in the books. And as we make the turn for home, it is Southern Maine 2, UMass Boston 1. Do the Beacons have a comeback in them? We'll find out after this.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alex, a couple things here, to note that Beacons, I don't think expected themselves to be down here. When we looked at the first period, they really came out flying, and the next thing you know, the second period, the Huskies really took it to them. They changed their scheme and really went much more aggressive in the defensive zone, really took away a lot of the time and space that the Beacons were accustomed to in that first period, and the reaction was not what you wanted to see for the Beacons. Here they have themselves down 2-1 at home. Right now, we're going to send it down to Steve Witkowski. He's got Coach Blyle after the second period.
Coach, gave up 2 goals in that period. How do you kind of come out and match their physicality and intensity in the third?
Yeah, we better do something because that was pretty bad. They outplayed us right from the get-go of that period, and we were on our heels badly. So hopefully with a power play here with 125, maybe we can get some momentum in the third period because that was not good.
And you got a lot of shots on goal, got a lot of opportunities. How do you kind of capitalize in the third period and come out of here with a W?
We're going to execute. The kids playing well down here, and we got to try to get some rebounds, get some dirty, greasy goals. There's some rebounds there. We're just not getting to them.
Thank you, Coach. Back to the booth.
Thank you, Steve. Right now we're going to take a look. We've got some behind-the-scenes action of women's basketball having themselves quite the year, and we'll bring you a behind-the-scenes look here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
UMass Boston women's basketball is off to their best start in program history. The Beacons are 13-1 with a program record 12 straight wins. And what makes their success all that more surprising? The Beacons only have 3 returners and 14 new faces. Hi, and welcome back to Behind the Beacon. I'm your new host, Gigi Braga. This week, we caught up with head coach Christina Baugh and a few members of the team to diagnose their big turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we brought in a couple pieces that have shown to learn how to play hard at this level, but the biggest thing was the character of our women's basketball team and how we represented ourselves in the classroom as well as in our community. And I think all of that is transpiring to how we represent UMass Boston women's basketball on the floor. That first quarter of Coast Guard, I knew that it was going to be special. We hadn't practiced like that. So to come out and see us really, I guess our gamers showed up that game. It was kind of like, oh, well, you know, this could be really, really special if we continue to learn what it means to play hard at this level, being so young. And really my seniors have set the tone, whether it's the classroom, managing my locker room, and getting in extra to show them, you know, what it is to be a Beacon.
I think for me and Katie, we just remember how last year felt and things that we didn't like and then things that we did like. So we try to focus on the things that we didn't like and kind of give them our perspective without bringing them to last year, but kind of teaching them what we want and what we're going to need in order to be successful this year.
Honestly, like just the way that we carry ourselves in like the first like probably 3 weeks of just like practice, it just felt different. You know, like you could just tell that people were dedicated to actually be here, and that's a definite change for this program. So I think in just feeling that in the first few weeks, I definitely I knew that it was gonna be different. Like they've adjusted, especially like Joey and Megan, they've both done like just, you know, were put in the game and just adjusted to the speed as soon as it happened. And I think seeing like being a freshman and seeing other freshmen do that just like gives every other freshman hope that they can do the same thing.
They've been very helpful on and off the court, whether it comes to school or telling us how to like do something on the court. So a lot of us have played together, and we have known each other for a while, so it's helpful having friends and people that we can go to with anything.
I think it's just buying in, you know, that second half. Our third quarter's probably been our best quarter, and just being willing to make the adjustment in game and listen to what coach is saying, and then just having each other's back flying around and having some keywords that we focus on, and just having everyone on the bench and on the floor.
We've made really good adjustments during timeouts with myself and my staff, and the kids have really bought in. Obviously winning helps that, but we make a couple small adjustments defensively, and when we lock in and do it, I think they end up winning games for us.
I think you just continue to trust coach, and you just buy into the process, and you think of the bigger goal. You know, there's so many people every night. There's going to be somebody's night, and when you think of the bigger picture, then you don't really worry about yourself too much.
Every night a different kid is stepping up and showing the world what she can do, and showing our program, you know, how valuable she is. And that could be the last kid on the bench and how much she cheers, or a new freshman getting a look for 8 to 10 minutes and showing some numbers. So I think that makes us dangerous, that most people can only go 8, and I think we have a bench that we can go 12 to 13 kids.
Being able to not just have like 7 people, like literally have 7 people that could even play in practice, so you have to play against coaches or bring other people in, and actually having like subs, and you can actually play 5-on-5 and get reps in like actual game speed. That is a huge difference, especially for like to be able to build our bench as well. It's not just game day that people can get experience; they can get experience in practice as well.
Women's basketball will resume play on Saturday, January 13th, as they travel to Western Connecticut State University at 1 p.m. The Beacons will play 10 of their final 11 games against conference foes, including 2 meetings with in-state rivals UMass Dartmouth. I'm your host, Gigi Braga. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back here to the second intermission report here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, and we'll take a look at the second period statistics here. As you take a look and you see, you know, shots on goal 26-21. Obviously, both teams here really, and in the first period you saw that the Beacons came out very strong, came out with a lot of energy, and right out of the gate did a really fantastic job in terms of the energy that they brought to this first period. Second period was much different. Huskies a lot more in terms of their defensive capabilities, really shut down the Beacons offense, and you take a look at the statistical categories and you can see pretty even to this point in the hockey game. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard here. And you can see NEC Babson College tied 2-2 after 2. Hobart College 4-0 at Castleton after 2. And Skidmore Norwich, 3-2 lead for Norwich. Skidmore keeping it close. That's at an end of 2. So a couple scores to keep an eye on. And the out-of-town scoreboard, especially now that the Beacon's down at home, I'm sure some of the teams looking at this, at our score thinking what's going on here. So points to be had tonight around the NEHC.
And that was Norwich and Skidmore tied up at the second, or tied up at 2 at the end of 1. So Norwich got one more. Now we'll see. All right, Norwich has that killer instinct. They can put the pedal to the metal when they need to.
Yeah,
can the
especially
Beacons
at
do
home.
it here in the third?
Yep. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll bring you the second period highlights here on Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back to the Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. 2-1 Southern Maine leads here as we get ready for the third period. And look ahead at what's. Actually, we should do this. We should answer the trivia question. We have. Do you have any idea here, Matt?
I gotta take a guess here. Yeah, we got trivia. So it was Seth, one of my teammates. All right, can we put it up once more? We got it loaded. I'll take a quick guess here. Can we load it real quick? Put it up on the. There's going to be some fans getting a beer right now that are upset they're missing it. They're not going to get a chance to guess. So we got Colin Larkin sits second in program history with 18 power play goals. What former Matt Meisenbacher teammate owns the career mark with 20? I'm going to go with my Jersey boy. He's one of my go-tos, has a lot of points. I'm going to say Travis Daniel. We're good?
Let's see.
He's giving me the good.
Travis
He's giving me the
Daniel.
goal. Let's go!
First
one. First one of the year. There you go. And I got it on camera. I got witnesses. Travis Daniel. There you go. And I'll tell you what, he was a killer on the power play, man. That kid would always sit back door. Somehow the puck would always find him. But there you have it, Travis Daniel, 2010 to 2014. Seth, let's go right to highlights. We'll run it right here. Bring you some second period looks. And it starts off with a great save. MacBurnie on the rebound was able to cover that up. A big shot on goal here for the Beacons. Able to come down the wing, and that was a tough shot. Bonno, joining the rush, was able to put that off the shoulder of D'Alosio and followed it up. UMB pressured early on in this period, but after that really were shut down. That's that one right in front, McGregor all alone, and I know he'd like to have that back. And then here's the goal. Coming down the wing, right to the net, going hard to the net, and you see the contact there by Gallagher.
Are you going to hold with your no interference?
And I do. I think because of the contact from Gallagher, that negated any type of goaltender interference. That made it 1-1, and then here you see Beacons kind of taking it back to him. We had a lot of this stuff going on in front of the net, and then this is right off the draw. You see our trivia question. We were talking about it. Next thing you know, it's a 2-1 game. And, again, a set play by the Huskies. That puck was won back to the D, and a quick shot right on net. You just send two forwards. The forwards didn't even look to see where that puck went. They just go right to the front of the net. We're able to make it 2-1 there, and then after that, it was a lot of UMB shooting, but not a lot of goals. You see here another save by D'Alosio. We thought that one had a chance to go in. This puck came from the top of the zone. Again, rebounds in front, and bodies too. Just couldn't find a way to tuck it in. And the Beacons find themselves, again, late in the period, another shot. That was a good save by D'Alosio. Just a lot of rubber. Haven't been able to solve the goaltender of yet, and this was a great save by MacBurnie. I'll tell you what, looking at that one again, he really was unattended. That was all alone. A great stop by MacBurnie there late in the period to keep it a 2-1 hockey game. Could have very easily been 3-1, but here's where we sit. We've got a Huskies team that has really found a way back into this hockey game. And after the first period, you thought it had the looks of potentially being a blowout, but it was only 1-0. And we reminded the people of that Huskies made some fantastic adjustments coming into that second period and have really done a really nice job in this game and from a defensive perspective. Combine that with the fact that they've capitalized on a couple opportunities now, and here you have it. You've got a 2-1 hockey game and a Beacons team that's probably scratching their heads thinking, wait a second, how did this get away from us so quickly?
D'Alosio's made 25 saves tonight, allowed the 1 goal. MacBurnie has made 19 saves. 2 have gotten past him. The scoring thus far, we'll go through it for you. Beacons got it started early. Colin Larkin with the assist from Nick Albano and Zach Pross, but that was it for the first period. Then Southern Maine struck in the second. Then 3 minutes of each other. Jerome Witkowski from Mark Tomacek, and then Brent Norman from Johnny Kite and Patrick Magliano. What do Beacons need to do here in the third period, Matt?
Well, they got to find a way to get some energy, and they really let it slip away. I did not see anything coming from the bench that period. I didn't see maybe once or twice where they were able to put a couple shifts together in that period, and that's really where the Beacons find their success, is when they are able to start rolling lines and guys kind of work off of each other. We saw it in the first period. We saw the speed and the energy that they brought out in this period. We saw none of that. It was a total 180. And so if I'm Coach Blyle, I'm in there trying to, you got to rev the engine again. You got to try to come back to some sort of presence. And I don't be surprised. Let's see. I'm going to put a little money on the table here. See if he starts with the fourth line. Because we saw them in the second period a couple times where they were able to generate a spark for this team. Now, I know he likes starting with his top line, so, you know, that's probably going to be the house bet is the top line. But let's see if he starts with the fourth.
Well, remember, the Beacons are starting, they'll have 125 on a power play.
So it's the unit. So forget about that. They'll put out their first unit. But that's still the case still remains.
But the idea is solid, and that leads to kind of my follow-up question for you is going to be Redler, Larkin, Bross. Yep. They were out there for that first goal. That was 5 minutes into the game. We really haven't heard from them since. No. Whether it's they're not getting that many minutes or they just haven't been effective minutes. It's got to be all about those guys for the final. We'll call it 18 after the penalty.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt they got to step up. And it goes. The Huskies, from what I can recognize in terms of their D zone, have gone to basically a combo coverage where they start into a zone. If the Beacons enter the zone, it looks like zone coverage, and then as they move the puck, they attack the puck carrier, and it turns into man coverage from there. So it's a little bit deceptive. Beacons need to recognize that and try to create some plays. Maybe, they might start into a power play formation, rotate into something else. If the Huskies are going to change their coverage, Beacons have to recognize and change theirs as well. You need a lot of movement, have to have guys moving on this power play.
Beacons retake the ice here as we get ready to go. Again, they will be up a man for the first 125. We'll be even after that. They are 1 for 3 on the power play tonight, scoring on their first 5 minutes in. And it has been pulling teeth offensively since then. 26 shots for UMass Boston, 21 for Southern Maine. The team switched sides for the final period. UMass Boston will move left to right across your screen there in their home white jerseys. Maine in the road blues. Moving right to left.
And we do have an update on the Jack Riley situation, Alex. So unfortunately, it looks like it's a dislocated shoulder. And it is what we suspected.
Never want to see that.
Yeah, he will not return tonight. And hopefully we'll bring it up again in case, if his parents are watching or he's got relatives watching. We do want to bring you those updates. Sure, you're nervous and worried, but it is a dislocated shoulder. Fortunately, it's not too serious, it doesn't sound like, but he will not return tonight, and he is being looked at by the medical staff.
It's him, Tyler Sifferlin, and Dave McGregor on the third line. We'll see what they do with those other two, and away we go. Third period, Beacons trailed 2-1. Trying to hold on and beat Southern Maine and stay in second place in the NEHC. Skating and gliding over the red line is Colin Larkin into the zone, wraps it around behind the net, and turns it over.
I'd like to see a few more shots from distance. I liked what I saw, a couple defensemen getting activated and being able to wrist those pucks from the blue line. It seemed to work. There were some rebounds there in the second period. I'd like to see if the Beacons can try to generate a few more of those here on this power play.
Up the near side wing, they gather in the corner. You saw in that first shift, Colin Larkin, the captain, really trying to do it all on his own, and they do need him to step up, but No time to play hero ball, at least not yet. 35 seconds left on the penalty. And Southern Maine's going to clear it. No, hold on, they're not. Beacons keep it in.
It's a great play by Bross to keep that in the zone.
Excellent keep for the freshman. He fires a wrist shot, and the save is made. And here we go again.
Some after the whistle stuff, but just a nice play along the wall. Zach Bross and picks the pocket, and not only that, but was able to corral the puck and then generate a scoring opportunity off of it. And D'Alosio with a tricky little save there. That puck looked like it had a chance to get through, but he was able to squeeze the arm to his midsection, and no rebound on the play. But that was a nice play by Bross to create the turnover and then the shot on goal.
And it looked like Johnny Kite, sophomore defenseman for the Huskies, may have gotten hurt on that play as this puck pops up into the stands. He skated off the ice, doubled over, and he has made his way off the bench area, now coming back on the bench, so perhaps just a stinger, as the Beacons will get a face-off just outside of their offensive zone. They were just going to put it inside the zones. The ref discussed, and they move it out.
Yeah, not much time left on this power play. This next shift is crucial, and you can see here Coach Blyle deciding to go with the Wickline line to follow things up after the power play, and so looks like the Huskies, they are going to kill it off, but a crucial point in this game, you got to try to follow up whatever momentum you were able to gain off that power play and at least establish yourselves in this period if you're the Beacons.
Flipped around, kept in by the Huskies, and a late whistle for offsides. It looked like that puck had stayed in. And will move the face-off back outside.
And you can see the Huskies there sending two forwards. And again, very aggressive in the way they're approaching. They're trying to counter some of this Beacon speed with very aggressive coverage. You saw there in the zone, two forwards on the D instead of one, and that aggressive approach has gotten them this 2-1 hockey lead.
Huskies win the draw, dump it in. You certainly tell at this point Southern Maine trying to shorten this game. Puck goes to the far side boards, now back to the near side. Trying to go blue line to blue line. It's shot long, and icing is the call.
And Coach Blyle instantly motioning to his top line to get out there. He knows that, as you said, the Huskies are going to try to milk this clock. They're going to try to get this game as low as they can with this lead to force the Beacons' hand. And Beacons, the reverse, obviously, is to get one here quickly, even this thing up, and then continue to pressure. And a big face-off win there for the Huskies.
That time they put Zach Bross, normally a wing, on the dot. They had Colin Larkin lined up right in front of the goaltender. Trying to self-pass it off the wall. Defense gets in the way. Larkin racing for the puck. He'll get there initially. Puck trickles off his stick. Alex Pantalone is there. We got both top lines on the ice. 17:28 to go in the game. It's a 2-1 lead for Southern Maine. Flipped into the zone. I think they're going to call offsides. Beacons may have gotten ahead of themselves.
And some of these plays are just a little soft for my liking. You saw there, Albano has a chance to just kind of get that deep. You've got plenty of room to either shoot that in far side or near side. Instead, he tries to go aerial and flip it in. And it gets blocked, and next thing you know, it's an offsides. A little bit, some of these plays a little soft. You got to be a little bit harder here. Get pucks deep. You might have to work one off the wall or out of the corner to generate these opportunities. It's not looking like Southern Maine's going to give you much in terms of the transition.
Trying to come up the center of the ice. Southern Maine dumps it in once again. In front of the Beacons bench. Wristed back behind. A couple players come together. They come down. No whistle. Calling for the puck at the point was Johnny Kite back in the game. He didn't get it. Wants it again. Instead, it's shuffled further down. Now the puck comes out to Kite. And he missed it. When he called for the puck as fervently as he was, can't let that happen.
Yeah, you got to try to corral it. And I'm sure his teammates will give him a little love for that. He called the puck, like you said, as frivolously as he wanted it. Got to find a way to corral it.
Back behind the net, the Beacons reverses some fancy stick work here from Gallagher to buy time. He's finally able to get it away as his teammates catch up. Beacons were mid-change. Backhanded out, wrist shot blocked. Here come the Beacons. It's going to be a 2-on-1. on the far side. Dangles back across. Save made, and the net's dislodged.
That's really good D. That's really solid D. To recognize on the 2-on-1 that Keene was on his backhand. Keene being a lefty there, the last thing you want to do as a defenseman is allow him coming down that wing to go towards the center and keep it on his forehand. You want to force him to his backhand, and they did just exactly that. Kept it to his backhand, wasn't able to get a pass, and a pretty routine save. It's still a tricky save there. D'Alosio with a good stop, but that's about as good as you can play a 2-on-1. The Beacons with a good opportunity, but better defense from the Huskies.
I will say this, Makarov got lucky to get called for penalties. He kind of just pulled the net off its moorings. And if there had been a rebound, we have a save. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Late hit on the goalie. They're jumping all over each other. MacBurnie gave a swipe, and then everybody else joined in.
And MacBurnie's, I hope the refs didn't see that. You got to be careful doing something like that. He shot the puck down all the way to the other end. I understand his frustration, but the puck was loose. He did not have, that puck was slightly loose in his pads, and I understand the refs letting that play. He had a good angle on it, and they're going to talk about it. Let's see what we get out of all this. Yeah, I understand the frustration from MacBurnie, but you got to be careful there. You don't want to put yourself down there, and it's happened to me. Frustration, you fire it down the other end. Next thing you know, you've got a 2-minute minor. But let's see. It looks like we're going to skate 5 aside. I don't think we're going to get anything there. And then right on the refs. I mean, that's good. You want to put a lid on it.
Give them a warning.
Yep, you put a lid on it. You let people know, okay, here's what we're dealing with. We're not going to take any of the extra stuff, but you don't want to put either team down there. And I think that's a good call. Good no call, I should say.
Face-off will come outside of the Beacons' defensive zone here, 5-on-5. Once again, the top lines are out. They're going muscle and muscle. And a race to the puck, you see hand fighting like they're going down the field in football. And this could be the Beacons' chance if Southern Maine's going to get physical. You catch them getting overly physical maybe and use some of that speed to get them sleeping?
I think the physicality is good for the Beacons. I think they still got to wake up. They have just not been the same team since that first period. And finally some noise out of this bench. I think a little bit of that physical play might be a good thing for the guys in white.
Wrist shot popped up into the netting off the stick of Zach Bross. And again, little networking event down by the net.
Exchanging some business cards.
That's right.
But yeah, no, going back to that, I think I don't shy away. If I'm Coach Blyle and Coach Schneider, I take a look. As you see here on this rush, and just a nice little shot here, get through, and a good stop goes up into the netting. But I kind of let a little bit of that go there, Alex. I don't think, you've got to find a way to get your team more active. And I'm looking at the bench. Finally, I'm seeing guys up and a little bit more energy. I might let it says that.
Oh, top ball down! Oh, what a goal! Matt, that was for you.
Yeah, right out of the gate and right off the face-off. I'll tell you what, I thought it went off the crossbar. My goodness, I didn't know if that puck went in. I really didn't. And
I think it hit the crossbar and went down.
Instantly called it a goal. It's going to be John Bonno. Right off the draw. We saw one from earlier in the game. The Huskies off the draw, and now the Beacons off the draw.
So, Matt, did you play with John?
No, I didn't. I got to be honest. I think he's motioning to his parents. His parents are here. I would love to be able to take credit for that. He did motion in our direction, but I do think his parents are here in the building, and he was likely motioning to them. But, hey, you never know. I'm John Bonno. Yeah, his parents said thank you.
I was going to say that the bleachers in front of us had been empty, but I looked down. Now they're pretty full. Southern Maine trying to get it back. They can't.
Huge save. Huge save by MacBurnie. What an answer. And here come the Beacons.
Here we go again, looking for the lead. Oh, big collision. Puck goes down to the corner.
Oh, my goodness. This is about as live. We're back to it. This is the first period all over again. But, yeah, sure enough, John Bonno, the wrister. And we thought it was off the crossbar, but the referee on the goal line right away motioned to goal, and we've got a 2-2 hockey game. John Bonno.
From the blue line went bar down to tie things up. The assist to Cody Wickline.
A huge collision at center ice.
Here we go.
Oh, my God. Garrett Gallagher and Michael Washington just had a full-on. Oh, man, that looked like a punt return collision. These two are really going at it.
Getting cranked up to another level. 14 minutes to go. Tie game. There's another big collision.
And Gallagher's fuming right now. He loves it. Yeah, that guy does not shy away from the physicality. You can see this game is back to the the type of play that we were accustomed to seeing in the first period. We're back to it here in the third period. 2-2.
Kind of what we've been waiting for. A shot from the blue line is blocked. Southern Maine's going to gather it in behind the net. Beacon's going to change. I wonder if we see that Blad Holiday Keen line come out here soon and take advantage of this.
Well, I think Coach Blau is going to roll 4. I don't see any reason why you don't roll 4 here, because you've got your team finally re-engaged. I mean, it's taken over a period, but finally the Beacon's back in this hockey game, and now we're rolling.
That fourth line at least partially on the ice right now. I see Holiday. It looks like they're a little mismatched. Southern Maine into the zone, no offsides. Let's take another look.
And here's the goal. Right off the draw, Bonno just sees a lane. And that reminds me, what that reminds me of? That's a Tyler Bishop special. Right off the draw, wristed through. So we got the alumni. We got Bish, Luch, Mace, Havy, and Linz all watching on the cast. And Bish, that one's for you, kid. You teach Bonno that, you got to let me know, because reminiscent of Bishop back in the day here. But John Bonno, right off the draw, able to get that towards the net, bar down. And then good for the kid. Parents in the building, motions right to him. Good on him scoring tonight to tie this thing up 2-2.
Puck comes to the near side, broken up. Oh, maybe a chance for the Beacons off the turnover. And a good job by Southern Maine on staying on top of the puck. Nick Albano was the one disrupting the play. More laying of the lumber. 12:42 to go. And how much does Coach tell you, man? The situations this one comes across the crease and goes wide. Don't empty the tank. You want to be physical, you want the energy, but there's still 12:30 to go.
I think the way this team played in the second period, they should have plenty of energy left. I didn't see much of anything. They disappeared for over a period, and now here they are in the third period. We're back to seeing what this team is capable of doing. And fortunately for Coach Blyle, again, I think it had to do with the physicality. The way this game started to go, some of those physical hits.
Oh, here we go.
That's
off the turnover,
offsides.
it's offsides. That was, as drawn up as you can get Colin Larkin. Beacons, if that had been on sides, weren't going to get a better look at getting the lead.
Yeah, great opportunity. But I really do. I think the physical presence in this game brought some of that energy back to this Beacons team. And this is what we're used to seeing, a team that runs. And they are running right now, hitting everything. And you can see guys are feeling it again. That's what you like to see.
Sent down the middle of the ice, almost gloved by Holiday. Couldn't get up to it. Justin Holiday at 5'9".
I got Luch calling me after the shout-out like I can pick up. What am I going to do? I'm on air, kid.
Leave him a voicemail. Puck coming up the near side. Huskies get there first on the backhand. Now the near side wall, east-west pass diagonally across the blue line. And the hand is up. We're going to have a penalty behind this. I thought the hand was up initially for offsides.
I think it is. Don't see. Let's see. Are we going to get a call here? It was both. The linesman had his hand up and the referee had his hands up. So I think it will be an offsides.
They waited a bit to stop it is what confused me, but face-off will be just outside of the Beacons defensive zone. Colin Ferreira, so now it's Southern Maine going to their fourth line on the draw against Daniel Nockbar. And Nockbar picks up the win. Wristed into the zone by Santa Paz. Goalie's behind the net. Beacons could get this one out quick. An aggressive play from D'Alosio. Holding, fires a shot. It's blocked. Looking to turn it around. Ferreira pokes it ahead to himself. Two Beacons closing in, and getting there is Garrett Gallagher. Wristed up ahead. The puck's going to take a hop and roll down where Maverick Lyles will gather it up. 10:47 to go in the third period. Still tied at 2. Wrist shot goes wide. A bit of a love tap on the back end, and the puck out of play.
Well, now it's going to be a little cat and mouse here because you've got 10 minutes, a 2-2 game here late in the third period. You got 10 minutes left, and it's going to be cat and mouse in two ways. From a coaching perspective, in terms of your lines you throw out there, you want to try to gain an advantage with the matchups you have, but also with the players on the ice. And you want to toe the line between calculated risk and putting yourself at a disadvantage. And this is all part of playing at this type of level. You've got to recognize where you can gain an advantage and where you need to sit back and play a little bit more conservatively.
Each team with the top line back on the ice. Although it's Bonno, the defenseman, carrying it in, and his shot is deflected up into the netting with 10:16 to go in the third.
A lot of jawing out there, a lot of jawing. After almost every whistle, guys giving it to each other, and something I like to see. I think it's a necessary part of the game, Alex. I think it adds to the game, and in most sports, Cyril's looking at me. I'm sure he's given a choice word about someone's mother once or twice, but I digress.
Wristed in and it's gloved. Yeah, I mean, you stop players from doing that, and you don't know what's going to boil over if they don't have that release, too.
Yeah, you gotta allow for a little bit of it, and as you said, it's part of that aggression. You can do some stuff verbally versus physically, but an in-zone draw here. Beacons with the top line out there, and as you stated before, Larkin now playing on the wing, and they've got Zach Bross playing center. An interesting change that they made in the second period and have stuck with here in the third.
Taken away by the Beacons. Sent up ahead to Larkin. Larkin pokes it forward, was looking for Redler, didn't have him. Huskies with their second line on the ice. They were responsible for the first goal for Southern Maine. Huskies do not like that icing call.
No, Huskies fans didn't want an icing there. But they're going to get one anyway. It's too late. And Huskies are going to have to throw some of those players back on the ice here. Another opportunity for the Beacons. They're going to put out that, looks like that second line perhaps, or let's see, try to get a gauge here of who's out there. It's going to be the third line. McGregor on the draw. Refs are talking about it. They might bring this outside, yeah, because it wasn't, and that's it. And you know what? It is the right call because I didn't think it was icing either. So it is going to come outside of the zone, and Beacons thought we're going to catch a break there, but it'll come outside the zone, and
it's
all the way out to center ice. So
it's a mismatched line that might have something to do with Jack Riley no longer being available due to a shoulder injury. So Dakota Keene's out there.
Yep.
Looks like with McGregor and Sifferlin, and
it's going to be a Beacons penalty. It's going to be a Beacons penalty. I think it was a hit behind the whistle. It was right below us, right after the draw around center ice. And unfortunately, Bonno is going to go. And it was behind the whistle. It looked like it might have been a late hit, but a little bit over-aggression, and that's what we were talking about, Alex. You know, that you got to find that line. You want to maintain that physical presence, but here you see a case where Bonno just crossed it just a little bit. Ref was right there, and Huskies with a chance to take the lead.
The near side wing, he rang the post. Huskies are 0 for 4 on the power play, their fifth try. They almost had one.
Called ringing the doorbell there. That thing hit it flush.
Slapper goes wide. Pipe City. Beacons clear.
They're fortunate. That was labeled. And right off the pipe, it had MacBurnie beat. And fortunately for him, his post was there. Could have easily been a goal.
Puck comes out to the blue line off the near boards. Out it comes to Murphy. Sends one in. MacBurnie with the stick moves it away. Back to Murphy again. D to D. Murphy's one-timer saved by Burney.
I'll tell you what, MacBurnie's reading these pucks real well. Reminds me of Tom Barrasso, the way he's tracking these towards the net. And a couple good saves, a great rebound control, and you can see he's zoned in right now. Reminds me of the former Penguins goaltender, number 1, Tom Barrasso. Used to track the puck real well.
8:26 to go in a tied third period. 40 seconds to go in the penalty. We're knotted at 2. After John Bonno evened things up about 5 minutes ago, he's now in the box. And the Beacons send it to length again with 24 to go on the penalty clock.
McGregor very aggressive on this forecheck here, and you see Colin Larkin out there. Coach Bonno might be trying to see if he can generate a little bit of shorthanded offense here. Might see something he's trying to take advantage of, but the Huskies going to be able to enter the zone here.
Turning it around 1-on-2 and taken away, faced up by Evan Helt. Excellent defensive play from the freshman as the Beacons clear once more. Did they get that off in time? Yes, they got it off as the clock was winding down. D'Alessio had his hand up as if to say icing. He pointed at the ref after.
That was a smart play by Chucker, and he took a look at the clock, recognized he had, I think, 2 seconds when he let it go, and then sure enough, by the time it got down there, the play had expired. But a really smart play. That's a veteran play by the defenseman to recognize he was still capable of sending it all the way down.
Puck goes down 2 lines, and it will not be icing. D'Alessio decides to touch up. Popped up into the rafters. No whistle,
Puck
okay.
is live.
I mean, it's different rules in different buildings, but they've been calling that a dead puck all night.
Yeah, if it doesn't go through or touch a beam, it is still live, and that one went right up in the air, didn't touch anything, came down, that definitely was alive, and Beacons had an opportunity for a 3-on-2 there, had that puck converted, but weren't able to get it towards the net.
I think some of the Beacons even thought it was going to be dead.
Yeah.
Everybody just kind of stopped.
I'd agree.
Here's Redler. Turns around, fires a shot wide, looking for the rebound. Quick shot blocked. That was Bonno on the rebound. Beacons keeping the pressure on. Goaltender can't find it. Wrapped around behind the net. Bonno calling for it. Kept it, shooting, missing just wide. For the Beacons was Daniel Nachbar, looking for his 6th of the year.
Oh, that was close. A good read. He came out of the corner with speed into the slot. Did not miss that far side by much. A nice read by Nachbauer. And almost had himself the lead on that shot. But boy, oh boy, coming out of that corner with speed, he was dangerous. I thought he for sure was going to get a good look. And sure enough, didn't miss by much.
Bonno up ahead. Flung forward into the zone toward nobody in particular. Southern Maine almost clears. Pass to the near side to Bonno. Bonno over to Wickline. Wickline trips on his own feet as he comes into the zone. Southern Maine trying to clear it out, can't do so. Shot, save, and the Huskies get it out. Beacons quick to the puck.
Couple good shifts here by the Beacons. They can continue to build on this. Huskies a little bit on their heels right now.
Glove down by Bonno, back in the game after the penalty. Pass tapped off the end boards, now forwarded ahead. Southern Maine tries to drop it into the zone. Oh, miscommunication, point blank shot off the end glass. Shuffled backwards to Brendan Murphy. Murphy holds, now comes forwards. Gets it up to the red line. On the back door, Murphy almost came all the way around the play to finish it, but a stick check broke it up and MacBurnie falls on it.
There's an eeriness in the rink right now. There's a little bit of uneasy tension. You can sense it from both teams here. Knowing that it's 2-2, still 4 minutes to play in this third period, but there's a good Southern Maine presence here and obviously a good Beacons presence here being at Alumni Weekend, and there's just this eerie tone in the rink. You can kind of feel that people understand this game might as well be in overtime. It sounds like the next person to score is probably going to give their team the win.
4:19 to play. The Beacons once again on offense. There's a shot redirected to the end boards. Trying to clear it out. Big hit from behind. It's going to create a 2-on-1 though. Getting back quickly is Zach Bross, and he's able to get there in time to break it up and deliver the big hit on the far side.
A great stick by Carter. Now he's coming down on the rush.
Carter, 1-on-2, flips around. Oh, and he just missed Bross. I don't know if he wasn't expecting it. Bross skated right by the puck. And that's going to be, is it going to be a trip, or did we get the offsides first?
Yeah.
Offsides first.
Larkin tried to wait as long as he could. He recognized Redler was really pushing to get back on side. He waited till the last possible second to try to take it in the zone and just create a little handoff for Redler there. He just didn't have enough time. It was the right play, but just not enough time for Redler to get back on sides, and the Beacons win the draw and able to take this back.
Holiday with the win. It's going to be that fourth line. Blad, Holiday, and Keene out there right now with 3:40 to go. Southern Maine clears. D2D now up ahead. Huskies turning it around. Wrist shot. Glove save made.
And see, I don't mind of course some extra stuff.
That
wow.
should be. He was throwing punches.
That's a lot. They've let it go for the majority of the game, though, and
Brock Padlam, the sophomore.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot with just 3 and change here. It's going to take a lot to get somebody to make that call. But I don't mind that play by Southern Maine there. I kind of like it actually. You enter the zone, just fired on net, get that whistle because what you've got now is an in-zone draw off the faceoff, and we've already seen the Huskies run one of their faceoff plays that equated into a goal. So I don't mind that play if you're the Huskies. Rather than try to enter the zone and try to generate from there, just fired it on net. And, of course, as I say that, they lose the draw. But, something that these Huskies have been doing all day is just trying to get those in-zone draws and create opportunities from there.
Excellent hustle by Wickline to contest that puck. Southern Maine, though, still able to get it out. Coming down the other way, Brett Norman. He's already got one, and he's going to have the puck taken off of his stick by the Beacons. Good defensive play. Now the bodies come together on the near side. Sticked forwards in front of the Beacon bench, stays in play. 2:49 to go. Glove down, you're going to keep that one alive. MacBurnie plays it off. Off of Southern Maine players, the breakout pass is knocked down, now taken back. 2-on-2 and an offsides. Just by a bit.
Just offsides, and you can feel it. The Beacons felt it coming. That was looking like it was going to be a Randy Orton out of nowhere RKO, but just offsides. Weren't able to convert on that 2-on-1. Would have really liked to enter the zone with 2 forwards there. They had the speed, they had the rush. Just offsides, and with 2:32, I'll tell you what, this game is as good as in overtime right now, Alex.
Little ahead of schedule there. Beacons get back in the zone, backhanded on net. I don't even know how Brian Carter got that shot off.
And that's simple plays like that. When you recognize this stage of the game, it's not going to take too much. All you need is a bounce or a greasy goal, a deflection, and you're walking out of here with a W. And I like that play by Carter. Getting it to the net, fired a quick release, and a big draw here for the Beacons. Big draw.
Top line back out there. Pross on the draw, 33 shots for the Beacons. 28 for the Huskies as this one's deflected away by the goaltender. Just missed the outside post. Puck leaves the zone.
Yeah, Gallagher was looking for a tip or redirect there. Tried to put it far side. Wasn't able to get one.
Dangling around. We got a stick on the ice. Here's Colin. Larkin puts it towards the net. Goes wide. Had some sticks it in the air momentarily.
D'Alosio with a great shoulder save. That's Larkin from the slot. He can score from there.
And D'Alosio grabs this one, and he will hold on to it, get his team a change.
Another draw. The other thing to note here is the timeouts. Do these coaches, you can see Coach Blyle and Coach Schneider talking about it right now. Do they take their timeout? And it's a little soon. You still have 2 minutes here, but you do have the ability to slow things down or to draw something up, and I'll be watching both benches to see. It doesn't look like they're going to get one here, but if we get another whistle, perhaps they take that timeout, try to draw something up, or give your players a chance to catch their breath.
Puck comes into the corner on the near side. Beacons keep it in the zone. And now it's poked out. Bonno, he has been busy tonight. Over to the far side, now wristed to the opposite corner. Beacons carry out. Get the pass off, out to the blue line, open look, the shot deflected up into the netting.
Huge block. Cody Braga, and we've been mentioning his name a lot. He has been mixing it up, and I'll tell you what, that's a big block. He came rushing out into that shooting lane and totally gave himself up to try and deflect that. Sure enough, was able to put it up into the netting. And Coach Blyle going right back out with his top line. This time Larkin centering the line.
Yeah, they've really just been using brass when it's on the near dots. Flipped forward.
Oh, I used to hate those as a goalie. I used to absolutely hate
those.
Like
that?
No, well, getting snowed, that's never fun. But those bouncing pucks.
Okay.
They're just so tough to read. They're like, if you ever played with like a Super Bowl, you just have no idea. You can kind of guess where it's going, and you can see there, if you watch MacBurnie the way he's playing it, you got to try to. A lot of times goaltenders will get caught in between bounces, sort of like a shortstop on a ground ball. If you don't judge it right, it can end up going past you pretty quickly. And nice read there by MacBurnie. That's a tricky save, folks. That's not as easy as it looks.
And you saw kind of the way he collapsed in. He wanted to make sure he had it locked up. All right, here we go. 1:04 to play.
I had that happen to me in high school. Puck came in from center ice, flipped it in, took a weird bounce, ended up right by me. One of the more embarrassing feelings you can feel as a goaltender. Everyone kind of thinks you fell asleep there for a second, but those can be tricky.
45 seconds left. Beacons looking for one last chance. Larkin tried to glove it down, could not get there. Puck is underneath the body. It's underneath Bross.
Beacons got to be careful here. You don't want to take too much of a risk. You got 30 seconds here. It looks like the Huskies are going to play for overtime. And that was tipped, so not going to get an icing here.
24 seconds left. Some fighting over this puck in the corner. This is an excellent job down there. It looks like that's Tomacek.
And it's smart by the Huskies, understanding that you are looking for any type of points right now, and getting this to overtime really gives you a chance to walk out of here with a W. And again, Alex, you feel 10 seconds left here. It looks like, this is an important draw. Let's see again. Are we going to take a timeout? Either coach, let's see. Huskies might take one here. They're setting something up. Let's see. Nope, they're going to run it. There's a big face-off here. If Huskies can win this clean, they can get a shot.
Beacons put the wall in front of the net. UMass Boston wins it with 8 seconds left. Stick down on the ice. UMass Boston just has to clear. We're going to overtime. 3 seconds. They're going to pile up again, and that will do it for regulation.
Knockbauer pretty lucky there. That stick broke, and sometimes these stick breaks that easy on a draw. You can end up kind of flubbing it. You can't get anything on it, but was able to win it. A clean win by Knockbauer. Good move there in 2 minutes. So we're headed to overtime, and I'll tell you what, that's a win for the Huskies. No moral victories in this conference, but this is a team that could have very easily walked in here tonight not believing in themselves, feeling like, playing the 6th team in the country, that they didn't really have a chance. But lo and behold, here they are, played very, very well. Defensively, I've been very impressed by the way that they've had their D-zone coverage. Not a lot of mistakes on their end whatsoever, and here they are, 2-2. So you've got a Beacons team, and you can see the difference in the way that these coaches are approaching. It's always something to take note of. You got Coach Blyle, who's fiery as everything. He's demonstrating. You can see him. You can see. I don't know if the fans at home can see him, but he's really getting into it here. We'll zoom in. He wants this win, and you can see he knows what's at stake. You've got an NEC team. You take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. You've got an NEC team that's got the lead over Babson. You've got a Skidmore team that's keeping it close with Norwich. That's the last-place team close with the first-place team in the conference. And you've got, like I said, NEC still with the lead over Babson. So they're crucial. With as tight as the conference is right now, points are crucial. And this is going to be a very interesting overtime. We've got 5 minutes to go here. Someone's got the chance to be a hero.
The Beacons have played 2 overtime games this year. They have both finished with a decision. The Beacons are 1-1.
And Norwich is 1 out. Norwich has already won the game. And it looks like, wow, Hobart has walked away with it against Castleton, 9-1 in that game. So you've got Hobart, and Hobart's going to win. Norwich has already won. And you've got to have your Beacons team doesn't know that right now. So this game means a lot. In order for them to stay in second place, they have got to find a way to get a W here.
Beacons went to overtime last time out. Their first overtime win of the year at Hobart. They won that 4-3. They are 1-1 in overtime games. Southern Maine has gone to overtime 4 times this season, 3 of those in conference. None of those 4 games have resulted in a decision. They have all been recorded as draws. The team switch sides, start the overtime period. The Beacons move right to left. The Huskies moving left to right. Play 5 minutes. If nobody scores, it's a tie. And I think we'll see a lot of this. The Huskies just holding the puck. They would be perfectly fine with 1 point. The Beacons would not. Flung towards the net, stick to Wade, juicy rebound, and the shot goes just wide. Nolan Redler, oh my.
Still in front. Beacons are pressuring.
See if they can get another look. Redler trying to dig it out. Huskies are going to be able to clear this. They do.
They're only going to get a minimal change here. If the Beacons can turn, they're only going to get 1. Huskies were only able to change 1 there. Beacons right back into the zone. They still have the advantage.
Redler crashing the puck. Shoots it out in front of the net. Nobody home. Huskies trying to turn it around. It's going to be a 2-on-4. And they will use the opportunity to get a change. The only one following the puck in is Witkowski. He had the first goal of the game for the Huskies. Backhanded to the middle. Steps around a man. Cutting his way in, played by the goaltender. Now he falls on it. It's another one of those close ones, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that one he'll be able to, because he had a player right on him. But, I never liked that as a goalie. You either commit to play it or you commit to cover it. But
so if you go out with the stick to bring it in to cover it, if you use the stick as a scoop.
You've got it's a judgment call by the referees. If you go way out and cover it, it's a penalty. That's a delay of game. But I think with that one, no, that's a fair play. He's corralling the puck. He's got a player coming in on him pretty hot. The refs will give you that.
Beacons win the draw, send one in wide, rebound, shot misses as well.
Got to make sure if you're forward, you've got to get back.
They've got him in deep, here we go. Oh, he just missed him.
Just missed. You've got to make sure you get back. No one can get behind you if you're playing D. It's still a chance for the Huskies here.
That was Adam Papiano on the break. Huskies regather.
Beacons are fortunate.
If that puck had been on the forehand right instead of the backhand, that rebound would have been the goal. Now it's the Beacons, 2-on-1, stick fighting shot. Does not get on the net. Poking at her. Are we going to have a penalty?
Yeah,
yes, we are.
We're going to get a penalty. Beacons will be on the power play. We're going to get a Huskies penalty, absolutely, on the slash. And I'm glad they saw it. I thought they might get away with it. It's going to be kite on the slash. So the Beacons are going to have a power play here. And we know how deadly their power play can be. This is a great opportunity for the Beacons. Let's see if they take their timeout. Yeah, and then sure enough, Coach Blau will. I think it's a smart move. You're not going to get a better opportunity than this in overtime.
It will be a 2-minute penalty. There is 3:18 left in overtime. So the majority of this game, the Beacons will be up a man.
And you can see the coaching staff talking about it. What do you want to run here? I'm sure these guys, half the team doesn't know that they called a timeout.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're out there for the face-off.
And we'll show you the replay here. We'll bring this to you. I just want to show you real quick where this penalty came in. It started off the rush. Beacons did a great job in transition. Came into the zone with speed. Now watch the two-time right there. That last one. I think he would have got away with the first one. First one looked to make contact with the stick, with the blade. But the second one there, you're not going to get away with two. Referee was right there, called it. And I'm curious to see, I know who the players are going to be, but I'd be curious to see what the Beacons will run here. And I'm sure Coach Blyle and Coach Schneider talked about it there for a second, but I'm sure they're going to try to get at least Larkin a look. Now, if the Huskies choose to take Larkin out of it, the Beacons will take that as well. They've got guys who can score. It's not just Larkin. He's the preferred option on this power play, but if the Huskies choose to take Larkin out of this play, then you're going to have to see an adjustment, but I would expect the Beacons out here to probably put Larkin on the wing. I don't think they'll have Larkin at center. I think they'll either have him on wing or at the top at the point. And let's see here. It looks like Redler will center the line. They're going to have Santa Pass on the wing. He'll go to the front of the net. Wickline's going to play the wall, and sure enough, they're going to have Larkin, and they're going to have Albano at top.
Those are the 5 for the Beacons. Their first power play resulted in a goal.
It's not Wickline, it's Bross. My apologies.
Beacons started this game with a power play goal. Can they end the game with a power play goal? Clock took a minute to run there, 3:10 to play in the game, 1:50 to go in the penalty. Duggan on the wall trying to get it out. Can they keep it in? No. Over the stick of Colin Larkin. Here we go. Uh-oh, Ferreira in on net. Save by MacBurnie.
Huge stop. Unreal. Save the game.
Oh, my. Keeps it tight. Beacons coming back the other way. Larkin at should be in. It is an offside. It's a late call.
Bernie just saved the game. All alone. Wow. Albano never saw him coming. Let's bring this replay to you real quick. Albano gets pocketed. Never saw him coming. And Albano with the old school Tom Barrasso kick save. Right here in the slot, boom, right there, kick save into the corner. That's the old school. That's the Henrik Lundqvist, baby. What a stop. And keeping this game alive was the goaltender, Bailey MacBurnie, his best of the night. They needed him there.
Bross wants to give it back to Larkin, can't do it. Puck's cleared again. Here we go again, could be another breakaway. No, Beacons defense gets there in time to take the puck away.
And good on Albano, not going to get beat on the same move twice. Obviously, Huskies going to send it forward. Beacons with a chance to get this deep, and they will.
1:05 to go on the penalty as this one goes up and into the UMass Boston bench. 1:02 to go on the penalty, 2:20 to go before it's a draw.
And it looks like NEC is going to walk out of there with a win. 5-3 over Babson right now at Babson. Very interesting what's going on in the conference tonight. Some points to be had as NEC will come into this arena tomorrow night, but still 2:20 left in this game here. Beacons still with 1:02 on this power play.
Beacons win the draw. Puck comes out to the blue line. Holding. Now to the far side circle. There's a wrist shot. Puck skirts through the crease.
Nice move by Knockbauer, just wasn't able to get good wood on it. The first one was a fake, he got the D to commit. Second one just, I think, bounced on him a little bit. He wasn't going to get all that puck.
Here we go, Beacons with some space, shot from the ground. Can't get it off.
Got to hustle here. Here the Beacons, got to transition this puck quick.
33 seconds in the penalty, 1:51 to go in overtime.
They weren't able to do it, so Southern Maine got a full change there.
Along the back wall, they come together, puck popped up. Beacons now arrive, it's going to be another battle. Huskies going to ink the clock. Beacons leave 2 out on the blue line just in case. Huskies have 4 of their 5 digging and 1 man in the middle. And it's shot the length again.
MacBurnie with the up. Let's see if he caught him.
Almost, but it's stick down at the blue line. It's an onside play here. Cutting in towards the net. Pushed away with the blocker. Penalty over, 1:12 to play. Put out in front of the net, Larkin missed it.
Huskies have numbers, it's a 4-on-2.
Pass to the backside, to the front again. Oh, it's knocked out of the air and wide. If Braga doesn't deflect that, and there he goes. Cody Braga knocked away the game-winning shot, got the rebound, and put it home for the Southern Maine win.
MacBurnie never saw it. He's completely screened on his play, his own guys. I know he's disappointed, but Braga, and you got to give him credit, Braga was around the puck all night. He really was. He was blocking shots, he was hitting people, and fitting that he would be the one to get that goal. And they didn't quit on the puck. It started on a 4-on-2. The Huskies entered the zone with speed and weren't able to convert on the rush, but right after that, puck came from behind the net. Braga was able to corral it and threw a backhand short side. And I don't think MacBurnie ever saw it. It was in the back of the net, and his reaction tells me that he never saw that puck. So a huge win for the Huskies. I mean, my goodness, coming into this building with the way the Beacons started this game, to hang on and to be able to walk out of here with a W with less than a minute in overtime. 53 seconds in overtime is when Braga was able to put that home, and a disappointing loss for the Beacons, but a fantastic win for the Southern Maine Huskies.
It is Braga's 3rd goal of the year. We will wait on the assists.
You can hear how quiet it is in here. That is a silencer by Cody Braga.
All right, we will go to break. We come back. We'll have the final stats and more. Final, Southern Maine 3, UMass Boston 2 on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
Imagine yourself at one of fewer than 300 prestigious research universities in the country, located on a peninsula overlooking the Boston Harbor, just minutes from downtown Boston. Imagine what it would be like to be a student here.
I imagine myself succeeding in the business world.
I imagine taking advantage of all the clinical opportunities in Boston.
Want to go into the police force for a little bit and ultimately end up either working for the Department of Homeland Security or the Department of ICE.
I imagine studying biology, working hand in hand with the professor.
There are many reasons students are attracted to UMass Boston. Just imagine the opportunity to participate in research, live and learn in Boston, and to experience true diversity.
Our researchers have expanded the research enterprise admirably over the last decade. They have engaged in important environmental stewardship. They are at the frontiers of the life sciences and public health.
Being in Boston is a huge advantage, not just to someone like me who's a researcher, but actually to our students.
I started working for Dr. McCoska since my sophomore year, my ending sophomore year, and now I'm going to my senior year, so it's been a very nice journey.
School for the Environment is becoming really one of the premier, or if not the premier, coastal environmental sciences programs in the country. The natural laboratory is 5 minutes away for us. The undergraduates and the graduate students can jump on the T or walk out the door or drive 5 minutes and grab sediment samples and vegetation and talk to watershed associations. It's really a wonderful opportunity for our students here with this location.
UMass Boston shares the peninsula with the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate and the John F. Kennedy Library and Museum. Just imagine an internship with one of these organizations or a Fortune 500 company.
There's no location like UMass Boston.
It's so close to the Innovation District, the 4-Point Channel. You can just hop on the red line and get there.
I like the fact that Boston is near the water.
I
was a legislative intern for Senator Elizabeth Warren in Washington, D.C. And I was there, in the Senate. It made me feel good about myself. It made me feel like I could do so much more. There's so much more out there and ahead of me.
After my internship at Ernst & Young this past summer, I was offered a full-time position to join their risk advisory practice, where I'll be doing part-time security consulting and part-time risk advisory consulting. And I never would have had this opportunity had it not been for UMass Boston.
Imagine what it will be like to interact with students from 150 countries.
You meet people from everywhere. That's the best thing about the school.
Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world.
We also have students here at UMass Boston who come to us from Texas, from Alabama, from Georgia, from California. And I often ask them, what brings you here? And it's always Boston. And then when they come here, they realize UMass Boston.
I decided to come to UMass Boston from the West Coast because, look at it. We've got the ocean, it's beautiful. I'm getting a really great education at great value. I couldn't be happier to be here.
This is what the world looks like. It's here at UMass Boston.
And now, imagine doing all of this at a campus that is buzzing with more than 100 clubs and organizations, 18 NCAA athletic teams, and concerts and films galore. Whether you're interested in studying abroad or doing service work over alternative spring break, we have something for everyone.
Starting my first semester here, I was assistant coordinator of Casa Latina. Second semester, I was promoted to coordinate my own center, the Student Wellness Center.
Being on the track and field team here is the greatest decisions I've made besides coming to UMass Boston.
Welcome back to the Edward T. Barry Ice Arena, where Southern Maine just defeated UMass Boston 3-2 in overtime. A look at the final stats here, Matt, and look at those. You think the Beacons won?
Yeah, no, I think statistically, this is what we're accustomed to seeing from this Beacons team. High in the shots and the saves categories, face dominant in the face-off circle, and especially when you look at the fact the Huskies were 0 for 5 on the power play. You would think that the Beacons had a better outcome than a 3-2 loss in overtime, but it wasn't the case. Again, I can't say it enough, but the way that the Beacons, or the Huskies rather, approached this game defensively and the adjustments that they made in game, some of the ways that they covered these Beacons forwards, the way they shut down the top line, really was the factor, I think, in winning this hockey game. They converted on their opportunity, sure, but after the first period and for a little while there in the third period, that was really all the Beacons got in terms of consistent offense. Other than that, it was pretty sparse, and I got to give a credit where credit's due. This Huskies team did a fantastic job in terms of their defense tonight. They really shut down a potent Beacon offense, and a credit to this Huskies team and to their coaching staff. A very solid win tonight for them.
Take a look at the 3 stars of the game. Obviously, the first star is going to be Cody Braga with the game winner there at the very end. Anthony Teolosio, I apologize to his family if they're watching. We butchered his name all night. 35 saves. He will get the win. His record moves to 3-6-4. Colin Larkin had a goal, too. I know that's kind of commonplace at this point, but we'll recognize him. Yeah, no doubt. And again, Cody Braga, all around the puck all night. He had a couple key blocks in the game, and you could see he had the spark. He had the spark tonight for that Huskies team, and it's fitting that he would be the one to get the game winner tonight. Played very, very well, and I'm sure this is a Huskies team. I'll tell you what, Babson better watch out. Babson lost tonight to NEC. And this Beacons team's now got a confident NEC team coming in here tomorrow, and Babson's going to have a confident Southern Maine team for their game tomorrow. So very interesting what can happen in the NEHC, and we talked about it in the pregame. The conference is as tight as it's ever been. Yeah, you mentioned what's coming up. This is not how you want to start a homestand if you're the Beacons, but too late to change that. First of 4 at home, they will host New England College tomorrow. It's 4 o'clock. You can catch that right here on the Beacon Broadcast Network. Next weekend at home, 7-4 again, Friday and Saturday, Castleton, and that big game against Norwich on the 27th before they go back on the road. February 2nd, they'll start off February on the road at Skidmore College. So, a couple thanks we want to give out, everybody, for the whole day, not just this game, but our full doubleheader today. Seth Orensky, our producer, did some sideline work. As did Steve Witkowski for Game 2. Gigi Braga, no relation to Cody Braga. She's as crushed as anybody that it was her name that put down the Beacons, trust me.
Devastated.
Alex Carasoto did an excellent job as well to our left, pushing all the buttons. Charlie Hughie on the replay and getting Qdoba. Our cameramen and women, Chris Fowler, Kyle Penny, and Laura Roman Castro. So for Matt Meisenbacher, my name's Alex Barth. This has been a presentation of the Beacon Broadcast Network. One more time, in overtime, the final score. Southern Maine 3, UMass Boston 2. We will see everybody next time. Have a good evening.